Let's go. Let's go. ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mount Panorama here at Bathurst. We're here for a 3-hour endurance of multi-class potential. My name is Lateral Gene. I'm joined by...
Myself, Aloy. How are you doing tonight then, King Kong?
I'm doing quite good myself, and we should be on for some pretty solid racing here today at Bathurst. This is going to be a pretty interesting one.
Yes, it's the 3-hour race that has been working in the months, and we've got it finally underway. A 3-hour endurance race around Mount Panorama. It should be good. We did this a year ago when it was just me commentating, but that was only 90 minutes long. This one is double the limit, so it should be twice as good as what it was the last time.
That should be. And we have a few things to cover for this race in terms of our rules and regulations. First things first, our tire rules for today. And this 3-hour race, we're only allowing one set of softs and one set of mediums, but you have as many sets of the hard tire as you want. So it's going to be interesting, and we're going to put it in the hands of the drivers today. And I know those hard tires around this track, especially around the McPhillamy Park and Skyline and the Estes, that's going to be pretty tricky, and especially some of these the Group 4 cars we're going to have on track today with their less downforce. So it's going to be pretty interesting. You're probably going to see quite a few cars into the wall today, to be honest. But hopefully we get to see some good, clean racing. Another thing to note is that this isn't just any 3 hours in Bathurst. It's during the night. So the visibility is going to be a pretty big thing to play on here. If you're going to see the different headlights, one thing to note with the headlights as well is only the GR3 cars have the white headlights and all Group 4 cars have the yellow headlights. So that's one thing to note. And another thing I do want to mention, as we are getting qualifying underway here now, is for the start of this race, we will be doing the first ever manual rolling start. And this manual rolling start that you're going to see here today will be the way we start all of our Season 4 for our GR3 Championships from this point forward.
Which I like. I cannot wait to see that happening. That's going to be so good to see.
It should be very exciting to see, especially how it turns out here on a track like Bathurst that's quite narrow and having turned quite earlier on. The 90-degree left-hand corner of Hell Corner is turn 1, but as qualifying is underway, only a 5-minute qualifying, so these drivers are only going to get roughly 1, maybe 2 laps here. But let's cover our drivers for today.
Actually, there's one other thing that you forgot as well, is that damage is on heavy. So, you know, where you see Wise Guys at right now, this is where the drivers are at the most concentrated. They've got to be very careful. They do not hit the wall, otherwise then that's a lot of damage on the car and they have to make a pit stop. We did see a lot of that in the 90-minute race a year ago. We saw a lot of drivers going into pit lane, so, you know, expect to see a lot more going into pits in this race.
Well, as we see Wise Guy rounding the crest of McPhillies and heading into Skyline and down to the S's now. I mentioned only 1 lap here, but our drivers for today is CSX Wise Guy. We have Law 226, PKMZ, Kobu GT, The Stig, and Jake Dan Harry. Those are all of our GR3 drivers for today. Then we have Robocopy, excuse me. We have Mermaid here in the Group 4. There's Robocopy in his GR3. If I can get the camera on there, he's in the McLaren. Ooh, I think it's a bit of lag. It's a bit of lag there.
Okay.
And we have Taven in the Group 4, Charles in the Group 4, Mini Kanin, a new driver for this race here, coming in at the last second in the Group 4, Craig J, FTA, and then Venom Snake QC in that round of our Group 4 field. But let's look back to the front here. As Law 226 actually managed to get by Wise Guy, so Law could be on for a solid lap here. Wise Guy's normally pretty quick if we watch our team versus team series. Let's see what he does if he crosses the line. It's going to be pretty solid, 2:02.1. PKMZ beats them both. They do, and PKMZ beats them both, though, with a 2:01.8. That's actually a pretty solid lap. Let's see what Kobu can do as he comes up to the line. He's going to go second. What's Stig going to do? He's going to stay 5th. He has some room to improve. Jake and Harry's going to stay 6th. What's Robocop going to do? The line goes 6.
Now 2:04.892.
There's Mermaid crossing the line. He's going to be 8th. That's because he's in a Group 4. Will Taven go ahead of him? He will not. But Charles will beat them both and go ahead of them. but only just barely. Let's see if we can look back through the rest of the field and see what Mini can do as he crosses the line. He's going to stay 11th. What's Predje going to do?
Predje's just come across the line when the time has just expired. So Predje in his Vegemite, that's a different one, isn't it? Yeah, Predje came across the line after the 5 minutes, so he shouldn't be doing another lap. Maybe I should tell him, actually.
Well, there we have Venom Snake QC going to cross the line for his one lap. It's going to be 2:14, and the one driver who actually was not able to make a lap was FTA. He had to come in with damage to one of his front right corners of his car, so he's not able to set a lap, so he'll be at the back of the grid. But some of these drivers do have time to get one more lap in. Speaking of, we have Waxeye and PKMZ here. Let's see if we can see where Law is, because I believe he's leading this pack. Actually, not quite. I think they decided to back off this lap, see what PK can do. It looks like he's still on it. PKMZ is purple again. What's Wise Guy? Can't quite tell, but PK's really pushing it this lap.
I was about to say, you were saying earlier that Law passed Wise Guy. He actually passed him going into the chase, turn 20. That was where Wise Guys got passed by Law. But anyways, let's see PK. He's a master around Bathurst. Will he improve his time?
He's got the slow car in front of him. Well, he will improve.
He does. Yes, he will. 202, 201, 627, which to me is about 4 times slower than the lap record that we have here.
Kobu will not improve, and neither will Law. Wise Guy we saw not improve. Steg crosses the line, still in 6th. Robocopy 7th. And Jake and Harry actually will improve to 5th place, so a good qualifying effort from him. But looking farther back here, let's see what Charles can do. Currently,
Robocopy just went a second quicker, but still in 7th and last in class, so nice.
Charles currently pole position for our Group 4 category. Mermaid will actually beat him currently. Let's see, will Charles improve as he comes up to the line? He will not. So Mermaid is currently on pole for the Group 4s. Let's see what Taven can pull out of his bag of tricks. Currently in 10th place. Rounds the last corner of Murray's and comes up to the line. Will he improve? It doesn't look to be that good of a lap. He will not. Will Predje get anything out of it? He will not. And that is our qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen.
Short and sweet.
So there you have it. PKMZ on pole in the AMG GT3 with a 201.6. Kobu in 2nd. Law 226 in 3rd. Wise Guy 4th. Jake Dan Harry 5th. Stig 6th. And Robocopy 7th. And that rounds out your GR3 grid. Then we have Mermaid on pole for our Group 4s. Charles in 9th overall, but 2nd. Taven in 3rd. Predje 4th. Minikin in 5th. Venom Snake in 6th. And FTA not able to set a lap in 7th. And that rounds out our Group 4 grid. Now we have 3 hours coming up around here at Bathurst. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, crashes will be a hang. Drivers will be going at the wall. There'll be a lot of damage to, I think, every driver. I would expect to see the GT3 drivers have to be a little bit more patient, especially going up the mountain around Reed, Solman, McPhillamy, Skyline, and the Essex bit, because it's just a one-lane groove. They don't want to be stuck behind the GR4. So, the GR3's got to show that awful lot of patience. But other than that, I think it's going to be a repeat performance of the 90-minute race. I think PK, he's a Bathurst master. He didn't put a foot wrong in the race a year ago, although he did make another pit stop, like he had some sort of pit glitch or something, but he still went on to win the race by about over 20 seconds. So I could see PK maybe just dominating it. He's in his favourite car as well, isn't he? Oh, you can see he's up there. There's his car right there, but it's a different one. But yeah, I could see PK just winning this by a country mile, I reckon.
It's very possible, but we do know Kobu, as much as I've ragged on him in the last stream we had, he does like this track, and he is pretty quick here. He's currently half a second off of PKMZ in 2nd place.
Yeah, as long as he can throw him under the bus.
I have, but if he can keep it consistent and stay on the back of PKMZ, save some fuel, he could beat him on terms of strategy. So, but that's on Kobu at that point. And I'll admit, as I've said before, not the best track record, but if it's 3 hours, it's a long time. Mistakes can happen. PKMZ could get some lap traffic, could hit the wall in McPhillamy, and the race gets blown wide open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to be leading after the first corner on the first lap of a 3-hour endurance race.
As we're getting the notification now, the start will be in roughly 10 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. In 10 minutes, we'll be back for the 3 hours of Bathurst. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back now for the 3 hours of Bathurst. It's going to be a long one. And as I mentioned earlier, at the start is going to be a bit different from what we're used to. It will be a manual rolling start performed by the drivers.
So this is not the start of the race. They're just going to get on. Hopefully, there's no one going to be stuck. I'm hoping there isn't going to be.
Looks like we're all underway.
All underway. One thing to note that you may have missed out in qualified is that the guy that's now that was supposed to be starting on the pole for the GR4's Mermaid has to start at the rear of the field because he didn't change his BOP. So now he's going to be starting at the back of the field as Mermaid.
So just to specifically clarify, because we're running a multi-class event, BOP cannot be on. So to make sure cars are still balanced within their classes, we have to have the drivers manually set the balance of performance on the cars, and unfortunately, Mermaid did not do that, so he was running at the full potential of his car, while other drivers were adding weight or cutting horsepower to try and even out the balance of performance. So Mermaid forgot to do that, and that was why he is now starting at the back.
But again, 3 hours, he's actually making contact with FTA through the cutting. So you've got to be careful there as Mermaid. So then, 3 hours, as you see on the clock, is underway, but this is still a formation start. The leaders will be going at about, roughly 80 odd miles an hour. When they get to the chase, I think they'll go down to about 60 miles an hour, and then on the start-finish line, it's just, the leader dictates where the start of the race will be, and then that's the 3 hour race underway. Also noticing to look at the tyres, PK is starting on softs, CRubennnn is on hards, Law is also on softs, Wise Guy will start on the hards, as well as Jake. Stick starting on the mediums, and Robocopy is on the hards, where that's the last of the GR3s. At the GR4s, Charles is starting on the mediums, Taven is starting on hards, Pred J is also on mediums, Venom Snake is also on the hards, as well as Mini Conan. How do you see the guy in 12th? Mini Conan.
Something like that.
Something like that, okay. FTA is starting on mediums, and Mermaid is also starting on mediums. So only PK and Law, I believe, getting the soft tyres out of the way.
Okay, so this should be quite interesting. So PK is going to try and build his gap early on, and this is when they're going to start to form up. They'll start to form two wide double file formation as they go under the Armor All Bridge.
Yep, there we go, starting to form double file going into Maddie's corner, and again PK will dictate when the start of the race will be. When he gets on the power, this race is underway. Tyres temperatures probably hopefully up to full speed, and away we go for the 3 hour race at Bathurst.
PK holds on to the lead, takes the racing line away from Kobu. GT holds on to second. Law looking to go up the inside the exit of first corner. Kobu made a mistake, and Law is already up into second. So Kobu's already starting to fall back here, but I believe you said Law was on the soft tire, so that makes a bit of sense. I believe Kobu, just to make actually sure, yes, he's starting on the hard tire, so we expect him to lose some positions here at the start of the race.
He's going to the inside. He's on the inside of Law, going into Griffin's.
He's not going to get that.
He holds back.
These guys.
Oh, Nice Guy hits the wall. Sorry.
Oh, yes. No, Jake Dan Harry hit the wall.
Jake Dan Harry is also spun, and he's got damage. He's got a lot of damage on his car.
Let's see if we can get a replay to see what happened here, specifically to Jake Dan Harry. So on board with Jake Dan Harry, going up through the mountain straight, heading into Griffin's. As he tried to fend from Robocop, he just missed his braking point. I think he just hits the wall. He just goes into the wall with Stig. Oh, I think a slight invisible wall at the exit of that tire barrier, and that caused him a bit of damage.
I think that was because that was all to do with Wise Guys, because Wise Guys hit the wall at Griffin's and a mistake, and Jake followed. So already bad start for Jake.
And it is, as he's now leading the Group 4 pack behind him. But let's have a look at them as they're going on here. There's Charles currently leading the way. We have Mermaid behind him, so Mermaid moving up quite a few positions at the start of this race here.
He's already second in class, from last to second in, like, what, 16 corners. What they're on to now, the Forest Elbow. So yes, so that's absolutely lightning quick start from Mermaid.
Kind of wish I could have seen that start, but we were focused on the Group 3s ahead of them. Back then, Havens in third, Fred J in fourth, FTA fifth, Venom Snake in sixth, and then Minikin and Curtly in 14th overall, but seventh in class. Back at the front, PK still leads and has a 2.5 second lead over Law in second, Kobu GT in third, Wise Guy fourth, Stig in fifth, Robocopy sixth, and then Jake Dan Harry, who we expect to be making a pit stop to fix his damage. And here he comes in now in seventh in class.
Big battle going on for third in the GR4 class. In fact, Taven's coming into the pits as well. So Taven must have had some damage on the opening lap. But there was a big battle going on. Minikin and Venom, FTA and Pridgey all battling for third in the class. Well, yeah, Taven's got some bumper and front right damage, whereas Jake's got a ton of damage. In fact, he's actually come out the pits now.
Steak had a bit of a moment there for Griffin, just clipped the inside curve and let the rear end slide out. But he's still in a good position behind Wise Guy. He's still within the draft, and we know just how powerful that GTR is on those straights.
Just to let you know, Jake Dan Hardy came out the pit lane to make his night even more worse. He picked up a 1.5 second penalty, but he's already served it.
It's good to know. One thing we should note, I guess, is the penalty burns. There is one on the Conrad straight between the Chase and Force Elbow, and then one after Hell Corner Griffins on the Mountain straight. So those are 2 penalty burns for this night. Still on board with the Stig as they go through the S's now down the mountain. As he almost loses the rear end of it, but holds on to it. Stig really fighting that GTR here. Excuse me, no, R8.
Yes,
I'm used to the Stig being in the GTR. He almost loses it again. Didn't pick up any damage from that though, but he did scrape the wall.
Stig, not too confident then. Look at PK, he's already checked out, nearly 5 seconds ahead of Law in second place. In fact, it's now over 5 seconds. See, PK's checked out already.
Well, he is on the soft tire and he had pole position, so we've seen in the past, looking at our team versus team events, starting on the soft tire at the front of the grid is definitely seen to be definitely an advantage. You build that gap so early. And it's hard for other drivers to come back at it when they had that soft tire. But if anyone can do it, we saw it happen the last round of the MX5 Championship with Charles in what was a 2-hour race. He saved his soft tire sprint race, stint for the end of the race, and it worked out beautifully for him.
Just to let you know on the update on Jake, he's now up into 11th place. He's just passed Venom and Minikin, and he's just approaching Murray's corner now, and he's coming up all over the back of FTA and Pridgey, who are having their own battle for third in the class. So Jake trying to recover what has been a bad start. In fact, he's going to the inside of FTA right now in Hell Corner, and he takes 10th place away. Oh, you got him right there. I didn't know it's on your screen. I thought you were still keeping in track with the GT3s.
Let's see if we can find any other close battles going on. I think there's still one for third, but it's a bit more spaced out now.
Yeah, it's a little bit spaced out.
Just a
Charles
little
and
bit.
Mermaid. Yeah, just a teensy bit. Jake's up to 9th. Closing all over the back of Mermaid. Hopefully Mermaid, after that strong start, hoping to got his BOP to his the normal, as it was supposed to be. Now, when who's that on board was Stiggy. Getting closer to Wise Guys.
Yeah, he's all over the back of him here. He's within half a second. So let's see what he can do. If he can find a way by the Porsche of Wise Guy in front of him as they now down through the mountain straight. But it looks like that Porsche is definitely holding on, if not pulling.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. When I raced the Porsche around here, I was struggling, especially on the straightaways. But it looks like Wise Guys has got that all sorted out. Looks like he had a little moment through the chase.
But this
Nearly on the exit too, here comes Sticky.
Wise Guy's going to look to the outside. Stig's going to look to the outside. Wise Guy defends the inside. Can't find a way through there, but he's going to compromise his exit. He clipped the curb, though, so he can find a way here. He's going to look to the inside of Wise Guy as they go towards Hell Corner. Late but on the brakes, not quite close enough to get it done. I don't know why. I keep thinking Stig's in the GTR just because I saw him so much in Season 3. And every time we run endurance events, he's always in the GTR, but he's in the R8 here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to change about that. In fact, Stig Cobra's pulled away from Wise Guys now, hasn't he? He's what is up to now? Nearly 2 seconds. I would expect Law to be pulling away a lot from Cobra.
Ooh, great move from Stig around the outside of Griffin's.
Oh, I didn't see that. I want to check right there now. So it's going in the middle of the corner. That's a brave pass. I think Wise Guys gave Stiggy a bit, too much respect there. He probably may think Stiggy was the faster of the pair of them, so he just let them by.
Let's have a look at our Group 4 drivers here. Charles still leading the way, 4 seconds over Mermaid behind him. Fred J in 3rd in class. Then we have FTA in 11th. Then we have Venom Snake and Minikin who's looking to be closing up on them.
Stig's had a problem. Stig's had a problem through the chase. It's down in 6th. Sorry, not the chase. My apologies. That's McPhillamine. Oh, he's lost it going into Skyline, and it tank slapped him hard into the wall. He's got front bumper damage and front right suspension damage too.
So he's gonna have to determine his pace to make whether or not he pits now because he's on the stint of mediums. So he's on a slightly faster tire than most of the rest of the grid.
And you can only use the mediums once, can't you?
Same with the softs. So Stig wanted to gain positions, and that would be a good time to do it, but with this damage, the stint's almost kind of thrown away.
Oh, he can't change tyres, surely. He can stick with the same mediums. He just needs to damage there, get the damage back on, repair the damage. So let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to stick with the mediums, or is he going to go on the softs, or maybe the hards? Let's see. Let's find out. No, it's just good. Just fuel and repairing the damage. Okay.
And away he goes. A short stop to fix that damage. All cleared up. Still comes out in 6th, 25 seconds ahead of Jake Harry, who's in class behind him. I have a question from the chat asking what tires Charles is on, and he is on the mediums, but also is Mermaid.
Yeah, Mermaid's on the mediums too. Actually pulling away from Mermaid now, up to just over 4 seconds.
Fred J still in 10th, FTA 11th, Venom Snake and Minikin close battle. So let's stay on board with this and see if Minikin can find a way by Venom Snake. Minikin, a last second addition to this race, as it was, I believe, Darth Nihilus had to pull out at the last second due to an issue that was out of his control. So Minikin, a last minute entry. Currently in 13th, ahead of Taven, who we mentioned had pit stop earlier, but battling with Venom Snake here. When he's got the draft, let's see if he finds a way up the inside into Griffin's. Venom Snake goes slightly defensive. Can't find a way by just yet.
It's going to be quite interesting because these two are both on the Aston. They're both driving the Aston, are they?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Yes. So, I've just noticed there on Minikin, he's got bumper damage. Oh, Venom's one wide, cutting.
Venom tried to go defensive over Minikin and did not let him by, and it compromised his exit there. But Minikin looking around to go on the outside. Venom Snake might have some pretty hefty damage on that car, and he's through.
Oh, he does. Venom's got front bumper, front left, and rear bumper damage. I wonder if Minikin's actually had the front bumper damage when hitting in the back of Venom, possibly, which we added caught on that.
At the front, PKMZ almost 10 seconds over Law, but I'm pretty sure PKMZ, well, no, Law is also on the soft tires, so excuse me there, but you just see the expertise from PK at this track. 15 minutes into the race, 7 laps, 10-second lead.
The last 4 laps that PK has done has all been mid to late 2:01s. The last 4 laps Law has done has been a 2:04 to in between a 2:04.2 and a 2:03.1. So basically PK is like nearly a second and a half quicker a lap over Law.
Let's go on board with PK as he heads down the mountain now. Through the S's, there's a very tight corner, very tricky. Hugs the inside curb, cuts that corner there. excellent car control. It's super easy to unsettle the car through that downhill section with all the bumps. Late apex here, back on the throttle as close to the wall as you can. And now on the Conrad straight for PKMZ.
You basically call PK this his home track, considering he is a master around here. He won the season, was it season 2 he won here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was season 2.
He was the man that beat Lemmy's winning streak.
Lemmy's, and that came, the unbeaten streak ended. Venom's just made a pit stop. He's just repaired his damage, so he's coming out. He's going to be the first one closely lapped by PK, who's just going into Muddy's corner now, isn't he? Yep.
The rest of the field, let's see if there are any other battles developing here. Law in 6th. Kobu seems to have pulled away a little bit in 3rd from the CSX Wise guy in front of him, or behind him, I should say. So Wise guy now in a lonely 4th after Stig had to make his pit stop. Robocopy in 5th place in his McLaren. Not a car we normally see racing here in ARC. The Corona extra livery on that car. You have Stig in his Audi R8, and then Jake Harry currently in 7th, but 16 seconds behind the Stig. And then we have our leader of Group 4 with Charles currently in 8th, 5 seconds ahead of Mermaid in 9th. Predjay in 10th. Actually, it looks like FTA has started to catch up to Predjay. I wonder if Predjay has made a slight mistake here. Let's check the damage on these cars. No.
He's got no damage.
No damage, but this is a battle developing here between these Group 4 cars, so let's see what happens here. 1.3 seconds behind is FTA behind Predjay.
Actually getting closed in by FTA, and then this and I know the Aston Martin's quite quick on the straightaway, but I didn't expect the GTR to be quicker than the Aston.
That twin turbo 3.6 liter V6 in the front of their GTR is quite the powerhouse.
Definitely. Just check what lap times they're coming by now. So Predjay comes across the line at a lap time 2:14. That's his best lap that he's done. FTA did a 2:14.3, so nearly half a second quicker than Predjay. Although Predjay's now pulling away 1.7 now.
It does look like FTA's got a fair amount of damage on the right-hand side of that GTR. If anything,
yeah, it does,
the roof looks quite damaged too, and I wonder how he did that.
But it's coming up here with no damage though. So he must have scraped the wall somewhere around here, possibly going up the mountain as they're going up to down.
Quite possible, but Predjay seems to have pulled the gap just a little bit. It's quite possible that Aston Martin builds the gap in the last half of the 3rd and 1st sector, but then we see FTA possibly close the gap through the mountain.
Yeah, I think this is where the Aston sort of struggles around here with these corners, because the Aston's quite an understeady car, but this sounds a lot more. It's rear-wheel drive, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So that'll give a lot of torque or power around here, and nearly makes a bit of a mistake going into Philomese. Oh, sorry, that's Sermon, wasn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to clip that inside curve of Sermon.
And then this bit's quite dangerous too. The S's very easy to get the car upset or sideways around there. Don't clip turn 16, otherwise you can pick up a hefty penalty.
Keeping it fairly nice and tidy. The S's and down the hill. Back behind him, it's still Minikin in 12th. Still actually fighting with Taven now. So after Venomstake made his pit stop, here we see Taven trying to catch up to the back of Minikin. I wonder if Minikin made his pit stop to fix that front bumper damage.
I will check up on that, and the answer is no, he's still got the bumper damage.
So this battle favors Taven then. Taven flashing the lights to let him know that he's coming. There are some regulatory rules in place for this race for the drivers to make sure.
He's going for the chase. He's got it too, has he?
Yeah, he has. Minikin didn't fight him. Let's Taven right on by.
Yeah, and I think that's because of the front bumper damage there. Your car will be a little bit slow if you've got some damage on your car. Taven have a lot of curb at Murray's.
At the front, PKMZ, 15 seconds. He gained 5 seconds in 2 laps, 3 laps.
it's just complete domination. It's pretty much like his home track. I bet you he's like Kobu as well. He practices around here every time. How's his tires looking? It's looking pretty good, eh?
Yeah, they are looking pretty good. He can still go for another, I want to say 30 laps on those tires.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know if he'll make that fuel, but he's going to be close. And he's actually coming up to some cars in front of him. Looks like he's going to start to lap Mulitclass and Taven. Actually, he clipped the wall. He clipped the wall.
No damage, though. No damage done to that car.
I want to make sure. I want to see if he actually did clip the wall, if it was just him going over the curb, because it looked like he touched it.
Oh, the sparks flying.
He did touch it.
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
it was
scrape,
just a gentle kiss.
Just
a gentle kiss. So now this is where PK's got to show his bit of patience, because they're battling for position, and he's coming up at the worst part of the track. Oh my God, he's going for a pass on Mulitclass at McPhillamy. That's brave.
Taven's going to let him by.
Well, usually the rules state that you're not allowed to let them by if you got your own battle. I think that's normally the rules in GT racing, isn't it?
Normally, yes, but I think you just let the door open for them, let them go on through. They still have their battle behind, it costs less amount of time, and they all went through cleanly, so not that big of an issue.
Tell you what, I'll keep an eye out on this battle, because I think Mulitclass's going for a pass and Taven on the straight. It's battle for 12th place, yeah?
Yep, he's trying to see what Law can do. Is he's going to try and find his way by Venom Snake there on the Conrad straight. Now, this entire stint's going to be hard for him. That front end damage hurts your front straight line speed quite significantly, probably around 10 to 15 kilometers an hour. So he's trying to fight back with the draft of Taven in front of him, but he's just having a really hard time as now that the Aston Martin strength has essentially been neutralized.
Yeah, Taven's making a real hash at Murray's again, clipping a lot of curb. I don't know if it's his ideal racing line, but it's certainly not happening. Yeah, Mulitclass, as you said, Taven runs a little wide through hell, but it's not going to allow Mulitclass to close up, like you said, with the front bumper damage.
As they head up the mountain now.
Sorry, I was just looking at Robocop. He had a moment in the middle of Murray's corner on the exit. Oh, I don't know if that could possibly be lag issues. I think Robo's struggling with a bit of lag troubles, I think.
As they're now getting a blue flag, which I would expect to be from Kobu coming up the mountain as well.
That might be Law, actually. Yeah, it'd be Law. He's going through Reed corner now.
Close to get to that wall. It's a beautiful camera shot.
It's like, I don't blame Law for trying, but I mean he's, nearly about 2 seconds a lap slower now than PK, and he's sliding through the S's. You see that slide?
Remember, Law is also on the soft tires. Kobu, but he still has a 10-second gap, 10.5-second gap over Kobu, who started the race on the hard tire.
Mulitclass moves out the way to let Law go by. Again, Law liking the green livery, colour, sorry. And sponsored by the NHS by looks of it, obviously to help the coronavirus or spreading or what have you. And passes Taven through the chase. Oh, he's gone wide, he's off!
He braked way too late to get that move done. Let's have a replay there. So he brakes way past the 100-meter board. That's way too late.
And the problem is that Mulitclass didn't really try to make past Law, but now Mulitclass's lost out a lot because he's lost the battle between himself and Taven.
Kobu GT makes a pit stop. 38% fuel left in that GTR.
That's quite interesting considering the PK's fuel is just below 50%. Very interesting.
So he does new set of tires going on, filling up that car. Still on the hard tires with 67% fuel.
Just going to come just ahead of Robocop. Stig's also into the pits from 6th place.
No damage on him. No, there is damage on
Oh
that
no,
car.
there is damage. Yep, front and front right again.
Yep, just to fix the damage, then going back out. But he seems to be doing a pretty solid job, I think, with the fuel. Oh, half a second penalty for him. I wonder where he got that.
I don't know. Is it shortcutting in the pit lane, perhaps?
It's quite possible. I couldn't quite see where he grabbed it.
Possibly, because like the pit lane, when you're going into the pit lane, it's very flimsy, isn't it? You go like left, right, left. It's very easy to shortcut it.
If you look at the gap between Stig and Jake Dennery now, Jake Dennery could be looking to possibly not be in last place in GR3 any longer. 6.5 seconds up the road is the next competitor, which is Stig.
Just seeing what lap times he's putting. He's doing 2:06s in his GTR, but he is on the hard tyres. It kisses the wall.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens at this track come group for Season 4 for our GR3 Championship Series. For those of you that don't know, the track list has been released. It gets very squirrely just before he heads down the mountain. And this track here, Bathurst, if I'm not mistaken, is on the calendar.
Yeah, I think it's at the penultimate round of the championship, I think it is. I'll check it up again because I did take a screenshot of the rounds. I think the GR4 championship is going to be different. I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think there might be dropped points in this championship now.
I'm not quite sure how they work or if they've even figured out how the points work. But there have been some drop points. As looking up the field, we see Robocopy finally getting past. No, are closing up to Kobu GT. So we're not dropped off here. So something's happening here. I'm not quite sure what. I saw the leaderboard jump around. I see Robocopy behind Kobu, but there's no damage in either of these cars.
Right, so I've got the track list up for Season 4. We are returning back to the Red Bull after a 2-season hiatus because that was the first round of Season 1. So we're back there. Monza for round 2. Laguna Seca round 3. Bathurst is round 4, my apologies. Interlagos round 5. Brands Hatch round 6. Spa-Francorchamps is round 7. And the final round of Barcelona. But one thing I'm very disappointed at is there no C'est Quoi. I'm disappointed that there's none of it.
I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed too, but the admin staff wanted to have everything be more realistic this year, so we tried to go with the real-life tracks this year around.
Yeah. I mean, I did post in the chat as Robocop nearly scrapes the wall going into the S's. I was just saying that in one of the chats there, I think the last 2 seasons that we've been doing this, I think the most exciting rounds have been at St. Croix. And I think it's going to be a real loss to the calendar that it's not going to be on in the Season 4 list.
I do have to personally agree with you, but I'm sure the admins have their own way of doing things. They want to race on real tracks, tracks you would most likely actually see in real life. You could go to and drive on if you were able to.
You know, I would love to see, a bit of dust being kicked up in the middle of the chase. Don't know who that could have been. It might have been a lap car and it was Minikin. I would have loved to have seen Red Bull in the wet. I think it would take a different, you'd probably see some drivers in the back maybe good in the wet. I think that would have been a very good opener. But, oh well.
I do know that was something that was put forward as a suggestion, was a wet race. However, currently with the balance of the cars in GT Sport, the reason it was not picked, I can't say with confidence, is that with how the balance of the car is, with the MR cars, with the mid-engine, they have a bit too much traction over the cars with the front engine and rear-wheel drive. So some cars would be way more overpowered for that one round than the rest of the field. They didn't like the balance of that, so we decided not to have Holst a wet race this year.
If only Polyphony had the idea to have a drying track in the middle of it, I think that would have been certainly entertaining. This Robocop is looking a bit slow in the cutting. He's lost a lot of ground to Kobu, nearly 4 seconds now away, is he? I didn't notice it. I'll check a replay on that.
There was a little bit of lap traffic between them, and there's a lot more lap traffic between them now.
Oh, he's just ran wide going into turn 4 and just hit a lot of wall. He tasted a lot of the wall. So he slid into the wall in turn 4. That's how he lost the
No
tyre
damage
time.
from that?
No damage at all, surprisingly.
Looking up the field as Wise Guy passes another SFTA. Not FTA is looking to pass Predje. Back at the front of the field, let's have a look at PK and how he's doing. He's almost at 25% fuel in that Mercedes AMG. Behind him, Law 226 in his Porsche 911. Not doing too bad. A little bit better on tires, a little bit better on fuel, as he just makes his way by the leader of our Group 4 category, Charles. And then we have Wise Guy who, no, those are the hard tires. I was going to say he made a pit stop, but no, those are hard tires, so that's why we don't see as much wear on them. But he's at 25% fuel. And behind him, we have Kobu GT, who we saw make a pit stop earlier for another set of tires, and is currently at halfway fuel, as he also fueled during that pit stop.
Very strange of Kobu to come into the pit and then put 66% of fuel in. Why is that? Why didn't he not go the full amount?
I can only assume that a lighter car means faster laps, especially when you're on the harder tire. You have to try and gain as much lap time as you can. So I figured he would want the lighter car. Just specifically, he said he can go a bit faster. I do know having not fueling all the way on pit stops is a legitimate strategy. It is something I did during our 3 hours of Spa. You'd do a stint, it'd be roughly, I believe, I want to say 20 laps on a set of hards. You'd come in, fuel the car up only 50%, because by the time you were out of the exit of fuel, you would have done the amount of required laps on the hards or so. And then you just come in and you just have a faster car for those stints.
I was just, FTA making it very difficult for FTA, but he is within allowed to do so. He's not allowed to let him by. Kobu, flashlight, say thank you. Getting back to when you did that Spa race, like, what was it like for you? Because I know you won that race, so like, how was it for you? Like, yeah, I can't explain the question properly. Like, how did you feel going at that race?
Well, going into it, I made sure to get as much practice as I could, because when I first started, I didn't have the amount of practice. I definitely would have needed to have the pace that I had. I have to admit, going into that race, partway through, Hideki-sama, who was my biggest competition in our Lobby B race, disconnected. So if he hadn't disconnected, he probably most likely would have won. He qualified about a second faster than me, but whether or not that would have lasted throughout the whole race is hard to say. But so that would have been tough if he had stayed in it. But as soon as he left, there was a fair gap in pace between me and Venom Snake, who was leading the race for a little bit, but that's because we were on differing strategies. But throughout most of the race, it was, I don't want to sound overconfident or anything, but it was a little bit boring most of the time, just kind of just racing my own line and stuff like that,
Yeah. Certainly a lot better than what I did in the Suzuka race, I'll tell you that. That was an absolute nightmare. And you covered it on that too with Alex. So. Yeah, this is your first 3-hour race that you're commentating on, isn't it?
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah,
I normally race the endurance events. However, I'm not the best at Bathurst, so I decided not to join this one.
Thank goodness for that, because my throat's already going, and there's only another 120 odd minutes to go. So, thank God you're here.
Speaking of PKMZ, he's almost 30 seconds ahead of Law in second, and we're only halfway into this race. Or not halfway, 30 minutes, excuse me. 30 minutes. I'm used to races only being 1 hour. 30 seconds, that's a free pit stop. If he keeps his pace up, he's going to have a free pee break at the middle of it.
I'm just looking at Law's lap time. He has done a mistake on lap 11, because all his lap times have been 2:03, 2:04. On lap 11, he did a 2:07.4. Oh, that must have been when he went off, when he was lapping Taven. That would be why, yeah. It just caught on to me, yeah. My apologies, carry on.
We got Wise Guy in third. 8 seconds down the road, we have Kobu GT. And then 6 seconds behind him is Robocopy. And there's a fairly large gap between Robocopy and Kurt. Man, in sixth place is Jake Dan Harry. So Jake Dan Harry did manage to find a way by the Stig. Didn't quite see.
Oh, he's got damage. Stig's got damage again. front and both front suspensions too.
Now, I throw Kobu under the bus a lot, but I have to admit, lately, in these longer races, Stig's been making a lot of mistakes. And it's especially when you compare his pace and his like what you see on screen. When you look at the pace that he had in season 3, almost winning that round at Tokyo.
No, that was Crow. That was Crow Magna.
Excuse me. They're both GTR drivers. I think they were the same team in season 3. My head.
They were the same team. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But he was still a fast driver in that GTR in season 3. He was consistent. He had times where he would qualify in the top 3. He would usually fall back a bit, but he would never make mistakes like this in these races, like we saw in the MX-5 and then in here. What do you think it is he needs to work on? Is he just getting in his own head, or is he just out of practice?
I think he needs to work on maybe do a bit more practice, I suppose. Confidence is obviously a key thing. I think mistakes make continuous mistakes in any race that we've seen them. So obviously that's a big issue. Consistency is also another big factor. I'm trying to think what else as well. Confidence and consistency is the only two I see as a reckon. But yeah, he is a fast driver. We have seen glimpses of brilliance of the Stig. Like, I think Stig's a demon starter. Like, at the start of the race, he's always great, but then he falls away towards the end of the race. And I don't know why is that. Is it like, does he use the tyres a lot? He's actually gone to the hard tyres now, so he's done his medium stint. He comes out just ahead of Law, but I think it's a confidence. It's a confidence and a consistent thing that the Stig needs to work on heavily if he wants to be a contender for season 4. I mean, he like I says, he does have that glimpses of brilliance. We did see the same car race. He qualified, I think it was in 4th, I believe. It was his best ever qualifying. But he made loads of mistakes at the beginning, fell down to 12th. He set the fastest lap, he drove his heart out, and he went up and finished in 4th place. So he has got that. He's just got to do it on a, constant basis, and that's where he struggles at.
Throughout the rest of the field, Charles still leading the way of the Group 4s, 10 seconds ahead of Mermaid behind him, who's 10 seconds ahead of Prejay in 10th overall, 3rd in class. Taven 11 seconds behind them in 11th. Still just only 2.7 seconds, ahead of FTA in 12th, who was almost 10 seconds ahead of Minikinen, who was 47 seconds ahead of Venomstake. So Venomstake almost 2 or 3 laps behind at this point.
Could be a battle going on nearly for 3rd place. 8.8 seconds though. Wise Guys and Kobu. Kobu's been setting fast laps over Wise Guys. I think it's like the last 7 laps in a row, I suppose. Oh well, Kobu pitted on lap 13, but after that, he's been very quick over Wise Guy.
Kobu's on the hard tire. I believe they're both on the hard tire, correct?
Yeah, over Wise Guy has to make a pit stop now. He's flashing red. And he's just going on the Conrod straightaway, so I would expect Wise Guy to come in this lap.
Speaking of fuel, let's have a look at their tires and fuel for these competitors. PK is in the red. We see Law is not quite in the red yet, so Law is doing a pretty good job of saving his tires in his lonely stint. And we see Wise Guy is going to have to make a pit stop this lap or possibly next. Kobu has gotten under 25% in his tag. Robocop he's going to need to pit. Jake Dan Harry maybe pit this next lap. Stig just made his pit stop as he just came in. We saw it fix the damage, so he's good to go. And there we see
Wise Guys does go in. Well, maybe that's why Law's only doing the 204s, 203s, because he's been saving fuel, whereas PK looks like to me he hasn't, because he's flashing red and Law isn't.
Quite possible. These Conrod straights are very long, and one thing to note is the Porsche doesn't, as we mentioned, does not have the best straight line speed. So to get up to that hill, you need to use a lot more power. You really need to rev the engine because that's where the torque curve is on the Porsche. Whereas PKMZ, the torque curve is quite low. It's just normally aspirated V8, if I'm not mistaken. So the torque curve comes on quite early, so you don't need to rev the engine as much.
No.
So to really get, so if he's saving fuel, he's definitely going to be a lot slower to get up that hill. So I would be surprised if his first sector is probably a second and a half slower every lap.
Robocop has just come out the pit lane. He's still on the same hards he started on. He's gone all the way up to the top. He comes up just ahead of Jeep Dan Harry, so we could have a battle. Oh, in fact, Jeep needs to pit. He's also flashing red and all. PK's coming in the pits.
Leader is in the pits. I would expect him to change tires. Maybe not. He might try to eke out a little bit more of these softs, but we'll see. Nope, they're coming off.
Yeah, they're coming off. Although he was still setting some solid lap times on those worn tires. He was still doing like high 202s. Let's see what he's gone on to now. So he's got the soft tires over with. He's gone to the mediums now.
So he's getting them all out of the way, and he's going to try and play. He's putting the ball in the other driver's court. He says, "Here's my gap. You catch me. You plan out your stint the best you can, and you catch me." So I think PK's being smart here. He qualified on pole. He's using his clean air in front of him to build that gap. He's still at 17 seconds to Law, who is yet to make his pit stop, if I'm not mistaken.
He's not yet pitted yet.
So PK is in the position of power here. He can do whatever he wants at this point, really.
I'd love to know from PK, what is the secret to being fast around here? Like, what is that secret? How is he so good around here?
I think part of it is just the car he's driving. That AMG is so balanced and stable. It's a popular car. There's a reason it was at the top of every team's pick list for Season 3. It's just so stable. You don't need traction control to stop spins. It turns in. It's solid, and it's the most average car across the board. It's super easy to drive. So let's see if we can go on board with a lap with PKMZ and see exactly how he does it. On the Conrad straight, heading up to now the chase. Kink turn 20. Braking just between the 100 and 150 meter boards. Touch of curb, touch more curb. Now under the Armor All Bridge as he heads towards Murray's corner. Braking at around 75 meters to the corner. Back on the throttle under the Super Cheap Auto Bridge and across the start-finish line. Now into turn 1, Hell Corner. Take a bit more curb than that, but he's being a bit more safe here. He doesn't need to push the car too much. Now on the mountain straight. This is where the cars with the more horsepower and a torque curve that comes on earlier, like the AMG, favor this straight. Because it's all uphill, and they have the grunt to get up it. Now an uphill corner, brake at the 50 meter board. Don't touch the inside curb, but you can go over this curve if you need to. Now into the cutting. First apex here, braking in the middle of the track, coming in. Late apex, almost that one. Now turn 5. Go back out wide. Turn 6. Then 7 for Reeds. Swing back out, swing back into the inside of the track. Just touch the curb there just a little bit. A little bit of throttle modulation, he goes a bit wide. Perhaps distracted by the Group 4 car in front of him. And now down the mountain, through the S's. Finds his way by Minikinen, and once again has clean air in front of him. Down to Forest Elbow. Close to that wall as you can get. Back on the throttle, and now into the Conroy straight, back down the mountain. A little bit of a dip back up, but it's pretty much straight down from this point on. Through the kink where he had a nice incident with CJ back in Season 2. Once again into the chase. Back on the throttle under the Armor All Bridge. 75 meter braking point for Murray's corner, the final corner on the start finish straight. And that is a lap around Bathurst with PKMZ.
just when you were on board with him for the lap, Jake's got on. Jake made a pit stop, as did Law, and they're both out on mediums. Jake went from hard to mediums. Law's went to soft mediums.
So I see on the leaderboard now that Kobu GT is in second, but he's flashing red on the fuel. I don't think he's saving any fuel this stint. I don't think he's just saving fuel at all. So I feel like he's better to make more. I think he feels that making more pit stops without saving fuel may be a bit faster in the end.
Quite possibly. We'll see what tires he'll go on to now. He might stick with them same hards because they are still good to me.
Well, he only had 13 seconds over Law, so if he's just pitting on fuel, he might be able to make it back out in front. 45 minutes into the race now. 2 hours, 15 seconds. Yeah. Let's see what he goes on to.
I'd imagine it'd be softs or mediums because I don't think he changed tires on those tires if he was still on hards. Here we go.
Just heard Law, and I believe it was Wise Guy possibly going. No, just Law. But he comes out only 2 seconds ahead of Wise Guy. Let's see what tires he's on. He's still on the hards.
He's on a fresh set of hards.
That's interesting.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, the hards, they don't really notice the wear on the hards until they hit, I don't know, 20-25% wear. So I feel like changing those tires is only just adding an extra 5 seconds to your pit stop.
I've always one ride through Griffins.
He has, but Wise Guy almost did the same, so it's not too much of a danger here.
Yeah, Kobu missed out on the trick there. He could have came out in second place just ahead of Law if he hadn't changed the tires. The tires didn't look all that warm to me.
Pretty much not at all.
Very interesting.
But this is now a close battle for what could be second place. Kobu is on a fresh set of tires and is only 4 seconds behind Law, who would be done his soft tire stint at this point. And then even then, Wise Guy's right behind him. And so there you see second, third, and fourth as they head down the mountain. Wise Guy actually picks up a 1 second penalty, so he's going to be out of this battle here. He's going to have to serve that penalty here on the Conrad Straight.
Just checking the replay how he picked up the penalty. Was he shortcut through the S's? Let's see. It's going through turn 15. Oh, he's actually scraped the wall. He scraped the wall on the exit of the S's, and that's how he picked up a penalty. I think it looks like they're showing the penalty when you shortcutted. Is that turn 15? But there's a bit of grass there. Normally, if you clear all the grass, it's a 5 second penalty. But it looks like they've shortened it now to a second.
Looking at the gap between Kobu and Law in front of him, it's already down to 3.4 seconds. So Kobu's definitely catching Law in his Porsche. I'm curious to see if Kobu, yeah, he is. He is not using traction control. Kobu has stated many times in the past that he usually uses one tick of traction control to control the rear end. But here he is in his GTR not using it, so at least he's trying to improve himself as a bit of a driver around here. On those hard tires in that GTR would not be an easy thing to do.
Do you remember in season 2 when he was driving the BMW, and he said in his interview that he was going to give Bathurst a try without using the traction control, and he really struggled. Like, he retired, didn't he? Pretty sure he retired from the race. He stayed in the pits, and he did finish last place, sadly. But I think Kobu's learning that he's not having traction control on, as you see in the leader from GT4 into the pits.
The Trinidadian DM Charles. It says Mermaid's ahead of him, but I think that's just because Mermaid's pit box is ahead of Charles on track. He's on the soft tires now. He comes up behind PKM's leader. So let's see what Mermaid's going to come out with. I believe he's probably going to fill up all the way. Well, he jumped to the soft tires as well. He was on the mediums. Full tank of fuel and onto the hards. And actually, it looks like Taven came out in front of Mermaid. So, what is tires is Taven on? Excuse me if I can find them here. He's on the hards, but he needs to make a pit stop. So that 9th place will not hold on for much longer. As we see Stig once again making another pit stop, and he's got more damage on his Audi R8.
Oh god, it's not going well for Stiggy, isn't it? Poor Stig.
Back to this battle for what could be for second place. Kobu GT 3 seconds now behind Law 226. There you see him on screen. Kobu on the newer set of tires. I believe perhaps, let's check the fuel levels real quick. Yes, less fuel, so he's in a faster car right now.
Do you know what's actually scary to believe? The gap between first and second. We're just going into 15 minutes into the race. The gap between PK to Law is 1 minute and 3 seconds. At this rate, PK could possibly lap Law twice.
Robocopy now making his pit stop. Let's see if we can get on board here. He actually has some damage on the front of that car, so he made his pit stop earlier, but now he has to pit to fix that damage.
Looks like we've got ourselves a battle going on for in 12th place. Minikin versus FTA. Minikin's repaired that front end damage, and FTA's catching him in a hurry. Minikin in the hard tyres. I don't know what FTA's driving. He's also driving on the hard tyres, but they're getting caught by Law in the Porsche. 1.3 seconds is the gap between Mulitclass to FTA, and Law's going to get held up by this.
He tried to find a way. Ooh, but FTA kisses the wall.
Kobu. Here comes Kobu.
FTA pulls over and lets them both by.
And he's got damage. FTA's got front right suspension damage. Taven's at the pit lane, as you said.
But now Kobu's all over the back of Law 226. He looks into the outside, and there's the straight line difference between a GTR and a Porsche.
Just looking on the replay, yeah, FTA clipped the wall going into the dipper, turn 17. That's how he got the damage from.
After the chase, Law still not wanting to let Kobu have a still over the back, but he's going to have a hard time for this next sector.
The Minikin pulls well out of the way, saying, all right then, here's your... See it.
Kobu braking later than a Porsche. That's interesting, especially in the GTR. Both drivers have both have a bit of a moment there. But here's where the GTR should be able to pull away. You see the gap slowly building.
Yeah, and it's weird to see that even a car in the slipstream is still able to pull away from a Porsche. That's how bad the Porsche is on a straightaway.
But this is the sector where the Porsche should be able to close up to the GTR. So they head up the mountain.
This is where the Porsche should be in its best. Blue flags are waving again. We've got no one in front of them, actually, to be fair. It might be from where Wise Guys could be. Yeah, possibly.
Over the top of the mountain as they head back down through it. Kobu's still ahead, but Law not letting him get away. Down the hill is where this favor the Porsche. You see him closing right up. The mid-engine of the Porsche will give him better bounce through his twisty section. He wasn't able to find a way by, so he's going to have to wait for another lap to see if he can stick his nose in coming down the mountain.
Now you watch the gap grow going into the Conrod straightaway, although it's slightly isn't, it's just remaining the same. No, it's definitely coming down. Law's found some pace in that. Well, obviously he tucked into the slipstream. Will he get back that second place going into the chase? He's thinking about it.
He could have gone for it. He could have chucked it in there. They might have touched.
Oh,
I think they touched.
Ride.
No, I think they touched. I think there was a bit of a touch. Oh, they crashed.
Oh,
they both spin. They both spin.
And they both picked up some damage as a result. Kobu's got front left and Law's got front and front right suspension. And Wise Guy's going to take second place off after all this.
Get a replay. I'm trying to get a replay here. So let's see what happened. This is going.
That's way back. That's way back. That's.
I tried pinging it. My keyboard's being a bit weird. I tried. I wasn't quite able to get it.
You gotta.
Keyboard's being a bit finicky. It's not always reading the inputs. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if Law may have got on the curb, lost traction, and got into Kobu, and that's when Kobu picked up the damage.
I think what happened is I think Law touched the back of Kobu going into the chase. Because that's why we saw Kobu go wide, and then Kobu had to come back on, and Law went wide, and they touched it, and everything happened.
So now Wise Guys will now inherit second place. Law's gone into third. He's come out ahead of Kobu.
How has he come out ahead of Kobu? Did Kobu make a pit stop out of that? He has.
Yeah, he did make a pit stop,
But
and
now
he's
he's
actually on the soft.
No, I'm just gonna keep all this information on screen. I'm just gonna keep it all on screen. I'm tired of.
To be fair though, in fairness though, I know you did rub Kobu under the bus a lot. Oh my God, he is scraping the wall. He is trying on those soft tires. He wants to get by Milliken. He is hot under the collar. But like you said, like you've thrown him under the bus a lot. That was genuinely not his fault.
I have to agree with you. I believe that was Law making the mistake going in. He was close enough to him. He thought he could make a move, but in thinking that he could have made a move, he braked too late and then ended up touching him, as we see Milliken in the back of the shot picking up a 1 second penalty. Well, this is going to be interesting. Law's only 2 seconds up the road. Wise Guy, I believe, was only 9 seconds up the road, but Kobu's now on the soft tire, so he's getting his soft stint out of the way.
That'll probably be why Kobu was behind Law, was because Kobu's gone all the way up to fill his fuel tank, whereas Law, I guess, didn't. So you can see he is visibly closing in on Law, and I think Law kicks him over the dust in the middle of the chase. So they're going to reunite their battle now, but it's only for third place.
Let's see what can happen. Let's actually go inside the cockpit with Kobu here. As he's now trying to chase down Law.
I'm surprised there's not steam coming out of that helmet.
1.9 seconds the gap. It's going to drop pretty quickly here. Kobu goes purple in the first sector. And when you look at PK's fastest lap with the 2:01.3, and Kobu's got a full tank of fuel. Kobu means business now.
Oh Lord, what have you done? You've made Kobu very angry.
In just a few corners, he's already within a second.
But like I said, that's the thing of having soft tires compared to mediums. And the thing is with Law, there's nothing you can do about it.
You really have to bang through those gears to try and get the car turned in. And GTR is not an easy car to turn.
I tell you what, he'll probably pass Law on the Conrad straightaway. He's all over the back of that Porsche now. We're getting close to it. But he should get by him on the exit of the Conrad Street. We're getting a little loose from the Forest elbow. But just look at that gap disintegrate. 7.2, 7.0, 6.7, 6.4, 6.16.
Might get him going into the chase.
I might do. Is he going to repay the favour? No, he's not. He's going to stick to the inside. Law lets him by. And that's third place back for Kobu.
So you have a Kobu retakes third. 8.2 seconds up the road is Wise Guy. Curious to see what lap Kobu's going to pull out of his bag here, especially with that pass.
202.3 dead.
That's a really quick lap, especially with a pass in the middle of it.
And that's actually a full second, nearly a full second slower than PK's fastest lap.
Flashing the headlights to help Craig J. He's going to try and find a way by. He's still purple again, going up the first sector. Let's get the next car off the road. It will be Taven. No, Kobu, it's Kobu!
Kobu hit the wall, but Preg squeezed Law into the wall.
I clipped the button, pressing the button to clip the replay, and it's not working. I'm sorry, stream. I wonder where Kobu. Oh, he did. He clipped it going in. He turned in too early. He turned in way too early.
I don't know if you noticed in the background too, but Preg just squeezed Law into the wall. Oh, he did. He's really trying.
See if we can get
He is
Law
really.
in place here. I said Law.
Hope you do. Hope you do. Come on, please work. There, you see it. Just get squeezed.
As we've said before, it's up to the GR2 drivers to find a way by the GR4 drivers.
Kobu's the man on the mission. He's flashed like saying, move out of the way. He's pretty much gained Wise Guys 2 seconds here on this lap. He's got damage. I've just noticed Kobu's got damage from hitting the wall. He's got bumper, he's got front and front left suspension damage. I've just noticed it. That would have been.
Now he turned in too early going into turn 3 right before the cutting. So he's got to make another pit stop again.
Do you know, there's a fine line between pushing the car to the limit and making a mistake, and that is what he done. He overstepped that barrier, and he pays the consequences for it.
And he does. There's Wise Guy now, pretty much in a solid second place. Because everyone else behind him is just making mistakes. Meanwhile, a minute and 30 seconds up the road is PKMZ as he comes in to make a pit stop.
He's coming in to make a second pit stop, so that is his one and only change on the mediums done, so he'll be on hards the rest of the way as we've just finished the first hour, Lateral.
His mediums are still good to go. He's just taking fuel.
He's going for okay then. I mean, they do look perfectly fine to me. He was still doing like early 202s. Like he was doing this. He's going at least a second quicker on the morning softs.
You can see on the right side of the screen the times he's done the past few laps and how consistent he is. 2028, 2026, 2024, 2024, 2023, 202 flat. Who's getting faster and faster and faster, but consistently.
And that's the thing what separates champions from the other drivers. They're just consistently consistent. They're not putting a foot wrong. They just know where the braking lines is, the racing lines. That's how to be a great racing driver.
I'm going to make a bit of a bold statement here and say that PK is probably the best driver in ARC to not win a championship.
I mean, it's a fair shout. It is a fair shout, but it's just down to what tracks they're going to be racing on. There could be some tracks that Merrick's not really good at.
And it depends what car he's got. Like, in the season 1, he was in the Alpha 4C. Which, I mean, in fair play to him, he did a great job to try and get the most out of that car. He was regularly trying to fight for the top 5 positions in that car. And then when he finally got the Mercedes, he was dominant at Dragon Trail in season 2. And then he tried to go for a 2-stop, and the 1-stop is what let Lemmy win that. But then he won here in Bathurst. Like, PK has that potential. He needs to get this consistency from track to track. But I would say that consistently, he's probably the best pound-for-pound driver in ARC yet to win a championship.
He also struggled in season 3 driving the Porsche. I think, if I remember correctly, he missed a Group A race. I believe he did. So I think obviously PK struggled in the Porsche, but it's that Mercedes. If he can have that Mercedes in season 4, I would watch out.
I do have Ruby and Lemmy pointing out, Ruby asking about what about Ronald Thomas, and Lemmy is talking about what about CJ. My response is Ronald doesn't race champs. Also, he has won championships. I believe if he has, I don't know if he's run actually any points championships. I don't think he has. He's only run single races. But regardless, he doesn't run champs. And then CJ, he's hardly even here anymore. He's gone for a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
He's gone lost. It'd be nice to have CJ back, though. It'd be nice to have the boss of the ARC come back.
We see Kobu still ahead of Law, or I think he retook that position after making his number stop.
Must have.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, Law's got damage. Law's got front end damage.
I don't think he's ever pitted. He never pitted to fix that damage.
No, he did. He did, because he did have front and front right damage.
You're thinking of Kobu. You're thinking of Kobu.
No. Kobu had front left. Law did have front end and front right suspension damage, and I know it was.
I'm
It was
pretty
all
sure it
good.
was only. I thought it was only front bumper because I saw in the replay it was only the front bumper that was damaged.
But then he went into the wall on the exit of turn 22 and then went off into the tyre wall, the wall there.
Okay. Still hasn't made a pit stop, so I guess he feels like it's not that big of a deal. But I'm curious to see whether or not Kobu will actually, how fast he'll catch Wise Guy here. I don't know how my information has left the screen here. There we go.
Kobu went faster on his previous lap at 2:02.196, so it's now less than a second between himself and PK for the fastest lap. But look at that gap just closing down ever so much, 6.8, and it was about what, nearly up about 10 seconds when he made that mistake. Oh, he's at the wall again. Kobu just needs to be careful here. He's running a fine line from really pushing the car to binning it, and he's becoming very close to doing so. He just needs to, calm that bit down. There's like another 1 hour and 55 minutes to go. He just needs to, settle down things. He knows he's quicker than Wise Guys.
Yeah, I would argue on this track. I would argue on a single lap time, Kobu and PK are about even. Problem is PK can do that time regularly for the next 5 laps. Kobu could do that once every 5 laps.
See what's he going through here? He's in the blue. He's faster than his previous lap time, so he's starting to get the gist without on these soft tyres now.
You have someone asking about the Group 4s, and that is a good thing. They've been a bit neglected now. Let's have a look. Charles still leading in the Group 4s, currently in 8th. Almost 30 seconds ahead of Mermaid in 9th. 10 seconds behind Mermaid is Taven in 10th. 15 seconds down the road is Prejay in 11th. 19 seconds behind them is Minikinen in 12th. And then FTA is 6 seconds behind him in 13th. And then Venom Snake rounding out the back of the grid in 14th. So not too many close battles.
Just letting Charles is now on the soft tyres. He's getting that over and done with. Mermaid is on the hard tyres. I don't think he has changed the softs just yet, as Charles is going to be lapped by Kobu. As you can see him flashing the lights. Oh, Charles, what are you going to do? He's going to let Kobu by. Okay. Oh, God. That camera angle is deceiving me, like.
We're highlighting a lot of the Group 3s, but this is where most of the action actually seems to be, as Kobu is rapidly closing on Wise Guy. The gap between him now and Wise Guy is now 5 seconds.
Bit of a rarity from PK. He's just on a 2-minute free. Actually, PK is actually putting a lap on Robocopy. And he has, so he slapped everyone up to 6th place. So Jake Dan Harry's next on being lapped in the GT3s.
Actually, after that first lap spin, Jake Dan Harry's did a solid job. He's passed Robocopy, he's passed Stig, and for the past few laps, he's been fairly consistent doing solid laps. So,
That he is, yeah. There is that one moment there, lap 28.2060, but apart from that, it's been fairly consistent. Look at those brake ducts just glow red there, isn't that? That's so good to see, especially in the night though, eh?
And it is. Something you don't get to see
Sticks
a
in the
lot.
pits. Sticks in the pits, and again, front end damage. This is the 4th time he's come into pit lane with damage.
Back on board with Kobu, he's now 3 seconds behind Wise Guy. He exits right in front of the Stig. An hour and 50 minutes remaining.
Oh, good on Kobu, sorry. Yeah, Kobu's now gone into the 201s, as you see on your screen. He's in the 201s now, so he's definitely pushing that Nissan. And I mean, his last 3 lap times have been pretty fast. 2:01.1, 2:02.1, 2:02.1, 2:01.9. So we're starting to get that consistency now.
He's 1.5 seconds on the back of Wise Guy now.
I wonder if Wise Guys will make it hard for Kobe, even though they are in the same camp, aren't they? They're both in CSX. So I wonder if Wise Guys is going to play the team role here and let Kobe by.
Yeah, this isn't a team race. This is every driver for themselves. I think Wise Guy would fight Kobu here, or at least he should.
Let's see what tires is Wise Guys on. Oh, well, Wise Guys is on the hard tires, so you know Wise Guys is going to be a sitting duck going on the Conrad straight away. Still flashing blue. Goodness me, Kobu. It's definitely finding this consistency now. Look at that, less than half a second as Wise Guys take a lot of curb in the chase.
Closest he's been, Kobu's probably going to retake that second place here momentarily.
We get a good slipstream tow off of Wise Guy, you know. Just went a little quicker, just shy of a tenth quicker than this previous lap. But here we go, then the 2 CSX boys then. What is going to happen? Wise Guys at the Porsche, Kobu with the Nissan. Kobu's going to the inside, burning on down the mountain straight. And you can just see visually how quick the Nissan is compared to the Porsche.
And he's got it done. He goes up into second place. Wise Guy back to third. But a minute and 13 seconds up the road is PKMZ. So, an hour and 49 minutes remaining. Do you think, with PKMZ having done all of his fast stints, faster tires, does Kobu have a chance of closing the gap and potentially fighting for the win in what is roughly 2 hours?
Right, I think my answer to that is going to be 2 letters. It starts with an N and ends in an O. That's all I'm going to see.
Fair play. He's still on the mediums as PK. We've got the rest of the field. Wise Guys we mentioned on the hards. Law on the mediums. Jake, Dan, Harry on the mediums. Robocopy on the hards. Stig on the hards. As we actually see Stig's about to be lapped by Law. Then we have our Group 4s. Charles still on the soft tires. Currently in the lead of the Group 4 category. 33 seconds up the road from his next competitor, Mermaid, who is in 9th overall. Then we have 12 seconds between Mermaid and Taven in 10th. 17 seconds between Taven and Predjay, who is in 11th. 15 seconds between Predjay and Minikinen in 13th, and then 15 seconds between him and Venom Snake, currently in 14th overall, as we see Venom Snake making his pit stop.
Just look at the FTA here, is still 6th in his class, but he hasn't yet pitted from his front and front right suspension damage. He's still staying out there.
Well, I'm sure if Kev saw Venom Snake's car, he'd be quite proud.
Just hope to see Kev in Season 4. We've been missing Kev a bit, haven't we? We've been missing a few drivers, haven't we?
We didn't quite see the best Lemmy last season, and he stopped halfway through. Kev was on and off. Season 3 was really the season where a lot of other drivers who were new to ARC really stepped up. You started to see some of the old guards start to fade away. Ruby wasn't racing. He helped us on commentary for some of those races. Kev, he had some races where he's Lottie B, and you had guys like Chili racing up at the front of the field. I'd say season 3 was a bit of a turning shift, a turning point, a shift in the upper guard who is at tier A.
Yeah, it's like the old school drivers are getting kicked out and the new school drivers are coming in. I wonder what I can't imagine what season 4 is going to hold like. I can't wait for that.
It's definitely going to be different. I mean, we've always had it a bit different for each season here and there. I think season 2 we had introduced some different tracks or new ways of doing things. Or it was season 2 how we introduced how it wasn't a strict Tier A and Tier B. You could go up into another lobby depending on your pace, I believe. Or was that might have been Season 3. I don't remember. But we've added something new for every season so far. Now we have the manual rolling starts to start the season. We're running all real-life tracks. It's going to be pretty interesting.
Coming into play?
Yep, just the one drop race. So if you have to miss something due to exams or whatever, like a lot of our drivers are people who are in school or in university or college.
Oh, I thought it was like if you had, say for example, if you finished like first, second, and third in like 6 races or so, and you finished 10th, that 10th place points will be deducted from the others. I thought it was that.
Well, yeah, but if you also have to miss a race, then that is 0 points. Doesn't matter, right?
Oh, no, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I never thought of that. Well, good thinking, lad. Oh, God, you got a better brain than me.
Let's see, let's have a look. Let's see if there's any close battles currently on track. It doesn't quite look like it.
There's a few going up at the cutting. I don't know if it's lap drivers or if it's a battle. I'm not too sure. But that looks like that's the only one that's close on the map. On the top right to me. I don't know who that could be.
Doesn't look like there's too many cars that have damage that we... Any new damage that we don't know about. So let's highlight Mr. Charles.
Oh no, Stig's got some back end and back right suspension damage. Here we go to the pits yet again. Robocop is into the pits from 6th.
Oh, he's pitting on fuel.
Yep, and changing tyres too. And look at the state of his car. That's a write-off, isn't it? Loads of scratches.
There's more Bathurst on that car than white paint at this point.
Let's see what tyres he changes to before you talk about Charles. See what he goes on to. He goes on, he's on the mediums. Okay then, right, you go ahead about Charles.
Right. So Charles is a driver, as we mentioned before, who's a bit new to the championship. He didn't end up racing Season 3. He joined after Season 3. He raced in the MX-5 championship and was actually quite successful for a new driver.
Yellow flag! Yellow flag, something's happened at the chase.
At the cutting, it's at the chase. No, not at Forest Elbow, excuse me. Someone spun at the Forest Elbow. It's Stig!
I'm trying to get it.
It's Stig!
Stig again! Stig again! What is going on? And he's got a lot of damage. Can you get a replay?
I'll try.
He must have lost it going into the dipper.
Yeah, I guess that rear end damage really unsettled the car. He's having a hard time with the mid-engine layout of that R8.
Oh dear. Stiggy having an absolute nightmare of a race. It really is. He's 4 minutes and 21 seconds back behind the lead. Anyways, back to Charles.
Well, as I mentioned, as he's about to get lapped by our current leader, PK, as he's new to the championship. So, and he was competitive in the MX-5 championship. He was top 3, top 4 consistently. So come Season 4, I would expect him to be in that that qualifying to Lobby A. And whether or not he's going to be winning races, yeah, it depends. If some of the old guard, as we mentioned earlier, comes back. Like I heard Lemmy say he's trying to come back in full force for this year. Whether or not Kev is going to step up this game for this season or even compete, I don't know. Ruby says, I think Ruby's going to come back, but I think the main one is going to be whether or not Lemmy can do it, and whether or not Chili still has a solid enough car under him to really help him be at the front. So, and if Lemmy doesn't step up or has the pace that he used to, and Chili doesn't, I don't know if Alex Rogers is going to commit to every race. It might be between Charles and potentially PK and Nugatti if he, for who could be the champion, really, in my eyes.
It just depends how Charles is on a GT, in a GR3 car. We've seen how good it was in a Mazda, but obviously that's not a GR3 car. What's he like in a GT3 car? We haven't seen it yet. I know he's driving in a GT4 car now, and it looks like he's really comfortable in that Mercedes, but obviously there's a huge difference between driving a GT4 car to a GT3 car. With the Mercedes that he's got, he'll be driving this with no traction control. Because I've driven that car in a no traction control bar, and it's absolutely fun. It's really fun. There's a difference though between driving a GR4 car to a GR3 car. How does he cope in it?
It's very, very true. So I expect big things, but I also expect big things from Bugatti coming up this season. Bugatti from the last race.
Oh! Goodness me! Venom! Oh dear, sorry, carry on.
from the last race of season 2 to what we have now, Bugatti has gone from a driver who was Tier B champion to someone who could be fighting for a Tier A championship. It's insane the amount of pace he has gained in the span of like a couple months.
I tell you what, if he is Ronald Thomas's protege, I'd watch out for Nuggy because he has, as you say, he's come on leaps and bounds. I mean, I can't wait to see what Bugatti drives for season 4. If he drives in an Alpha, he'd be right up there.
I have it here that Lemmy said he's only a reserve for next season, and then Dan's also wants us to remember he's here. However, he's kind of rushed.
Oh, Charles has left! Charles has left!
No, I'm still watching him.
Are you sure?
Yes, he is on screen, my screen right now, still racing.
Oh right, okay. On my screen it says Charles has left the room.
He's definitely still racing on my screen.
Oh right, okay then. I can see it on your screen, but he's disappeared on my screen. I was just commenting on Stiggy again. He made a pit stop, changed the soft tyres. He had damage again. Went into the pit lane, stick with the same softs. He's come back in again, have repaired some damage. So Stiggy again. He's not liking this Audi, isn't he?
No, he is not.
Wise Guy's in the pits from third.
Yes, he's gonna be pitting on fuel. So let's see if he stays on the hard tires or if he's gonna jump to a softer compound.
Changing tyres there. 15 seconds Kobe was ahead of Wise Guys too there. You could just see how. In fact, does he actually close the gap on Kobe? Yeah, yes, Kobe's closing up on PK. It's down to 1 minute and 3. But obviously, Kobe's using his soft tyres now, whereas PK's on the mediums. Let's see what he's done. He's on mediums, as Wise Guys. Okay.
Yeah, it is down to 1 minute 3. However, that's still 1 minute 3 with an hour and a half left to go. But Kobe's still got some life left in those softs, and he still has his mediums to go to, if I'm not mistaken. So we could see that gap drop onto under a minute. Whether or not it'll close to anything where it's anything regarding a potential challenge for a win, we'll get to see.
You can see by his lap time now, he is still getting faster, 2:01.6. So he's slowly eking into that fastest lap set by PK. Don't forget, I think the lap record around here was Lemmy in the Lexus with a 2:01.0, so I don't think they're going to challenge that. But obviously that was different tyre settings, wasn't it?
Yes, it was different tyre settings.
So I can't mind if this was at ×2 or was this at ×1, I'm not too sure.
Lemmy's making fun of you in the chat.
What's he saying now? What's he saying?
He's just saying Charles has turned left.
Oh. Oh, Kobu! Jesus, Kobu had a huge moment on the exit of the hill corner. He proper tank slapped that Nissan. You watch it here on the replay. He gets it nearly wrong. Nearly tank slapped here. Look at this. What? You well held, Kobu.
He makes his way by Mermaid in 9th. 1:04 at the gap now. So that last lap wasn't as fast as he would have liked.
PK is coming into the pit lane right now. PK was all over the back of Law going into the last corner. That's not in 4th position anyway. PK's in. He'll possibly might change to the parts now, looking at those mediums.
And the tires are going on. So like we'll have to be just a set of tires, so he's on the hards.
But he didn't put fuel in. That's interesting.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, a harder compound tire with a lighter car means you can kind of even out the balance of difference between having a medium set of mediums and a full tank. So a lighter car is faster, and you really want your car to be as fast as possible on the slower tires.
Looking at Kobo's fuel gauge, it's probably down to about 13%, so he's going to be pitting in a couple of laps or two. In fact, he's now flashing red, so Kobu should be pitting within, like, not this lap, possibly the next lap or the second lap.
So let's have a look at our order as we're almost halfway through this race. And PKMZ leading currently by a little over a minute, with Kobu GT in second, CSX Wise Guy in third, Law 226 in fourth, Jake Dan Harry in fifth, Robocopy in sixth, The Stig in seventh, DM Charles TT in eighth, but leading the way in our GR4 category. Arc Mermaid in ninth overall, but second in category. Taven in third and 10th overall. Predjay in fourth and 11th. Minikin in 5th and 12th. FTA 6th and 13th. And Venom Snake in 7th and 14th overall.
And just to let you know, nearly halfway through this race, the gap between the leader, PK, to Venom Snake is 9 minutes and 1 second.
I'm actually just looking at the gap between Taven and Mermaid, and it's now under 5 seconds, but they're both on the same stint. So this is actually a battle for position for second place, or what seems to be one here between Taven and Mermaid.
Looking at those lap times, Mermaid's not looking too comfortable on those hard tyres, whereas Taven is. You can see that Porsche Cayman's doing steady to low to 214s, whereas Mermaid is doing mid to late 50s.
And Taven's setting personal best times in that Porsche going through the mountain.
Gets it nearly all wrong in the middle of the S's. Just
I don't know if Taven has done a stint on mediums or the softs yet.
I can't remember that far back, as he nearly gets it all wrong, nearly at the dipper.
4.5 seconds to Mermaid in ninth. This is a battle for position between these two.
And trust me, 4.5 seconds in a 3-hour endurance race is nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And if you look at Taven's time on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see just how consistent he is.
It's like I said, Kobu's coming in. Sorry. Yeah, 214, like I said, mid to early 214s, whereas Mermaid's doing 215s.
See what Kobu does. Looks to be a set of fuel, no tires. It looks like he's staying on the soft, so just fueling up. Back to the battle for second place in the GR4 category. And you see his competitor up the road, Mermaid. That's the man who's fighting for position. 4.4 seconds the gap. Actually, Kobu goes to the medium tires.
Okay then. That's alright.
So he's doing
PK's on hards. PK's on hards now.
Wise Guy makes his pit stop.
He's got damage, front and front right suspension damage. That could have a battle for third place on our hands if Law doesn't do anything.
Just a splash and a fix.
Law's just gone through Muddy's corner and he stays in third by the looks of it. Those Wise Guys, yeah.
Both Minikin and Predjay, who are 11th and 12th, of pitting at the same time here.
I'll keep a close eye on the battle between Mermaid and Taven. It's going down slightly, nearly down to less than 4 seconds.
So a lot of fuel going in that Aston Martin for Predjay, a full tank and a new set of hards. Minikin with a 5.5 second penalty. What happened for him to get that?
He's got again, is that because of the pit lane?
I think it is. I think he cut the crack going into the pit lane. So he should serve that penalty here. There he will. That's a long penalty to serve.
He might fall into the clutches of FT8 now. He's going in towards Muddy Corner there now. Oh, the gap there I've seen there is 59 seconds, but Minikin has made a pit stop. It's now down to 24, so Minikin will not be able to push from FT8. Actually, Venom's stake is closing up to FTA, 5.2 seconds.
Between Taven and Mermaid in the Group 4s, it's now down to little over 4 seconds. So Taven is slowly catching a few tenths a lap here. Will he run out of fuel before he can pass Mermaid? That's really going to be the question, but he has more fuel than Mermaid. So if Mermaid decides to pit first, it could be an issue of Taven just pitting at the same time and then beating him in a pit stop.
Just checking the lap time there. Mermaid just did a 2:15.317. Taven comes across the line 2:14.891, half a second quicker. Now the gap is now less than 4 seconds, so Taven getting closer.
Now an hour 30 left to go, an hour 30 in the race. But this is the point where some of these drivers are going to start to feel a little bit more fatigued. They're going to start to sweat a little bit. They're going to start to feel the heat.
Yeah, whether if you controller or controller or wheel.
This is going to be the point where you're going to start to notice if your focus starts to break and you start to make mistakes.
Walsh just come out the pit lane. It's just been lapped by PK. So now only 3 cars on the lead lap in the GR3s. PK himself, Kobe and Wise Guy.
Currently on lap 40 around Mount Panorama. 3.5 seconds between Mermaid and Taven. Both are on the same tires, both have roughly the same amount of fuel. I have to give it to Taven. Taven is doing an excellent job so far. Try and close that gap to the cars in front, especially after we saw earlier on in the race. He fell back a little bit. As we see the leader in our Group 4s making a pit stop, that's going to be Charles. He's going to put on a new set of tires and fill up that fuel tank.
I'm surprised you haven't took the mickey out of Haven's gamer tag yet. But you would have like rhyming gamer tags like you did before in the Master Championship.
I don't know if you know this, but he's changed his gamer tag. It's now Arc Taven instead of Tavenstall.
Oh yeah, I thought you could... Oh right, okay. Never mind.
You can call him Maven, Staven, Raven.
Craven. That gap is slowly coming down though towards Mermaid, now nearly going down to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
They will have to pit soon. Mermaid will have to pit very soon though.
They will.
Yeah, he's flashing.
I think if Mermaid pits is for Taven, Taven has to go with him if he wants to keep the battle going on. If he waits that 1 lap and Mermaid goes to a set of softs, if he still has a pair left to use.
He's short shifting. See Mermaid is short shifting. I also noticed on Mermaid he's actually got damage on the roof of his car.
Charles, why are you talking to chat? Charles, focus on the race. I know you just made that pit stop. Focus on the race.
Oh, Taven had a huge moment in Griffin's. He scraped along the wall. No damage though.
See, it's all part of the strategy. You hit the wall enough times, the wall moves outwards, and you can carry more speed through the corner. They're all just thinking real smart.
Fair play though to Charles. He can multitask as well. That's good going there, Charles.
I'm pretty sure he sent that message when he made his pit stop, but regardless.
Possibly.
3.5 seconds between Mermaid and Taven. It's dropping ever so slowly.
Giving a shout out here to the Siggy. I know he's been really struggling, but he's actually pulled some fast laps out now in that in that Audi, in that soft. He's just had a 2:02.898. Obviously, you know, it's now over 1.5 seconds slower than PK's fastest lap time, but I think he's starting to find a bit of rhythm. You see on that lap time, 2:02.8, 2:02.9, 2:03.2. Starting to find that rhythm now.
Yeah, he's starting to get used to it. An hour and 30 of doing laps consistently, that'll do it to you. But I also think the Audi is one of those cars where it definitely favors the soft tire, similar to the Ferrari 458. It's definitely one of those things where it needs that grip to be as fast as it can be, and as soon as you take a little bit away, it becomes that much harder to drive.
You can see him actually closing up on Jake Dan Harry, but that's not a battle for position. Jake is what? He's like a full lap down on Jake.
Mermaid makes his pit stop with Taven. Where's Taven responded? He did not. He did not go in. So Mermaid has gone in. So this is actually going to be interesting. Will Mermaid get the undercut on Taven? Well, less of an undercut, but will his new tires allow him to stay out in front? Actually, Mermaid has front end damage.
Oh, he has, yeah.
Not quite sure when he picked that up. He didn't have it last I checked.
No, never did I. No, we were watching it together, and it didn't look like he didn't have any bump damage.
So he's coming out in the softs.
Not
So Taven might not be able to get this position unless he also reacts with the soft tire. He has to really push this lap, but I don't think it's going to favor him here.
Hold on a second here. I'm trying to think. Has Mermaid actually been out of the softs? I'm trying to think back to the first, like the first laps.
I don't think he was. I know DM started. No.
Chucky did start in the softs. I'm not sure if Mermaid did. I'm not quite sure. Someone will probably rerun it back and then in the class. Someone probably will.
It's going to be pretty interesting because Taven needs to make his pit stop.
24 seconds to gap. Let's see what he's going to do here. Taven's got to pull like a qualifying lap if he wants to get out ahead of Mermaid.
He can't afford to short shift here. That's for sure. 24.1, and as we mentioned, Mermaid on the softs, Taven on the hards. Will he stay on the hards or will he jump to the soft tire?
Yeah, I don't think Taven's changed the softs at all. Not by my reckoning anyway, but anyway, he's coming in now. Be careful you don't get a pick up a penalty here. It's a very flimsy pit lane. Yeah, looks no good to me. But let's see what he does here.
It didn't look like he lost too much time to Mermaid there. Still over 24 seconds. So tires do go on. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to perhaps maybe put half a tank of fuel in, allow a lighter car, maybe jump out a little bit ahead of Mermaid. It'll give him
Mermaid's just coming across the start finish line now. Oh, they're going to be like side by side, possibly.
On the mediums.
Oh, and T just comes out ahead, but Mermaid will have that. Will have like the tires to the optimum temperature now.
And
there we
Taven
go.
on the mediums. I think this favored Taven here as Mermaid had that front end damage that had to be fixed. Battle for position. Mermaid's looking around the outside.
Side by side through Griffin. So Taven won Mermaid.
Super close, but he holds on to position. Look back behind him. It's Jake Dan Harry. That was Jake Dan Harry and Law battling for position.
Yes, it is. Yeah, Jake's up to fourth. Jake is up to fourth.
Law just made the pit stop, I think.
Law made a pit stop on lap 41. That's when he made his pit stop. No, lap 42 was when he made his pit stop.
The Sig, who's a lap down, is trying to get by them. He's trying to unlap himself.
And he's on the softs and all, but I'm just hoping he hasn't got damage. No, he hasn't. So he's still all good, although his last lap was a 205, so he's getting held up here. But look at this traffic of cars, and it's all being battled by...
Taven did lose the position to Mermaid. He did. We didn't quite see it happen. We were trying to focus on these GR3 cars.
Mermaid passed Taven around the outside at Griffin's. So we got it.
Find a way, Law braking. Rayleigh, he's into the back. He was into the back of Jake Dan Harry again.
That's a carbon copy of what I did to Cobra. Now, was there any damage on Law's front? No, there's not. Is there damage on the back of Jake? No. Jake's got no damage too, so no harm, no foul there.
But they still have a Mermaid in front of him, and Taven's actually going to like this a little bit. He's going to get tow from the faster cars in front here. At least
But he has lost a lot of ground though to Mermaid in the process, didn't he?
But Jake Dan Harry's holed up by Mermaid in front of him, and Law's all over the back of him, and Law's on the harder compound of tire.
Oh, Jesus! Law just came up right in front of the stick when he was trying to get by him. I tell you what, that was good awareness from Stig, because then he would have got taken out by Law.
When you think about it, Law's on the hard tire, Jake Dan Harry's on a worn set of mediums, and they're roughly the same pace right now.
And now Mermaid and Taven are still continuing their battle for second place, although it's just over 2 seconds. Yeah, let's keep this battle going on then. There's a 3-car battle going on, fourth place, but although Stig is not in position to overtake, well, we can overtake them both, but it's not going to be for position. Do you feel Stiggy feels a little bit impatient? He wants to get by them.
I mean, he does, but I think he also realizes he's roughly around 2 laps down behind him. Oh, big moment from Law. There goes Stig, looking to go find a way by, but he can't get it done.
Yeah, you've just got to hold station here. That's a tricky part of the track to make an overtake. Stig hits the wall on the exit of the dipper, as too did Law. PK's back in the pits. You want to keep this battle going on for fourth place between Jake, Law, and the lap Stig. Gap slowly coming down now, coming down to nearly half a second. Tell you what, Jake's recovery's been very well.
Jake goes wide. Jake goes wide through the chase, and he's about to lose a position to Law because of it.
Side by side going into Buddy's corner, nowhere. I mean, tell you what, Stiggy's got the best seat in the house here. Law tries to stick it around the outside. Stiggy! Jake had a massive moment in the middle of Muddies, and he's lost out a line. Here comes Stiggy, getting 2 places in 1. Well, 2 passes in 1, maybe. Excuse me.
Law's still trying to fight him, even though he's a lap down.
I mean, I wouldn't fight with the stick. He'll probably know he's a lap down. I wouldn't fight him.
PK pulling a Charles and typing in the chat during his pit stop. There goes the Stig, so he's unlapped himself from Law and Jake Dan Harry.
I tell you what, that was some intense racing between them 3, wasn't it? That was pretty good.
So Law comes out ahead of Jake Dan Harry. 48 seconds up the road is the next car ahead of Loss, which is CSX Wise Guy. Kobu GT still in second, only 34 seconds ahead of Wise Guy. But actually, Kobu's reeled in PKMZ. He's now only 57 seconds behind PK.
And also, PK did make that pit stop, bear in mind.
So Kobu is slowly reeling him in, but he's only got a little over an hour to try and gain 57 seconds, and I don't think that's going to happen. Unless PK has a big mistake because of a Group 4 car in front of him. But even then, that's still 58 seconds currently the gap.
Still want to see this battle going on between Jake and Law, and is the Stig freed himself from this battle? Looks like he sort of.
Stig is on the soft tire still.
Yeah, he's still in the softs, but he will have to pit sometime very soon as he slides through the chase, and Jake's gone way off!
Jake completely missed the cutting. The chase, excuse me.
Whoa, he nearly went into the kitty litter. That would have been a huge off if that was in real life. Got on the replay,
he braked at
way
the 100.
too early.
I know it.
Way too late, sorry.
At the 100-meter board, yeah.
Yeah, I normally brake around about in between like 150 or just after.
And he comes in the pit lane. I think he feels like his tires have gone too far off at this point.
And Robocop, it will take 5th place away from Jake. Did he pick up damage to Jake? Did he? No, he didn't.
Actually, yeah, Robocop, he just went by held corner on the Conrad straight. So he's not too far off.
Jake's on the softs.
Okay. So he did a stint on the mediums, and now he's on the soft tire. So Jake Dan Harry really wants to close that gap now.
and it's doable. 9.3 seconds. We saw Kobu do it.
Very true. So let's have a look through the order here. BKMC leading 57 seconds. The gap between him and Kobu, and actually the gap falling quite fast, but that's because Kobu's still on those medium tires and BKMC's on the hard tire. CSX Wise Guy in third. Law 226 in fourth. RoboCopy in fifth, who just set a personal best sector going through the mountain, it looks like. Jake Dan Harry in sixth, who's now on the soft tires, only 9 seconds behind RoboCopy, so let's keep an eye on that battle. And the Stig is roughly 2 minutes behind Jake Dan Harry, the final GR3 car on track, currently in seventh. Leading our Group 4 is DM Charles, 8th overall, but leading, as I mentioned, Group 4. Mermaid in 9th overall. In second in class, still 5 seconds between him and Taven, who is in 10th overall and third in class. And then we have Prejay in 11th, and Minikinen, who's only 1.3 seconds behind him in 12th, and then 31 seconds between him and FTA, and then 45 seconds between FTA and Venom Snake.
Let's have a little shout out here for Minikin. I don't know if he's had a lot of practice around here, but I know he's just like a late change from Darth, but it seems to be doing a really solid job, even though he's sitting in 12th position. It might not be as good as you think, but for a guy just to be a late starter in this race, he's done very well.
That he has, and he's really closing up to the back of Prejay, but I'm not quite sure the difference of tires. Yeah, Prejay's still on the hards, Minikin's on the medium, so Minikin's definitely has the advantage here with the softer compound tire, but they also have CSX Wise Guy behind them.
You can see the gap absolutely closing now, nearly down to half a second, down to 4 tenths of a second now. Oh, and Wise Guys is going to have a look on the inside. Hopefully, both of them. Hopefully, Prejay wouldn't move. Yeah, they both let him, but then that will compromise Prejay because Minikinen is all over the back of him. To the inside, possibly. No,
yes,
sticking behind.
Not quite close enough.
He's faking. He's trying to fake out Prejay, wasn't he? Oh, here he goes. Must have the run off of Buddy's corner. He's going to take that 11th place away, and he has. Good job there, Minikin. That's good racing etiquette there. Try and put your driver off.
Back, though.
Oh, okay. Then hush my mouth. Two Aztecs side by side going into the cutting. Hey, the Griffin, sorry.
Still side by side.
Eddie Conan giving a wide berth in Griffin's, but he got the speed off the corner.
As mentioned earlier, I wanted to keep an eye on that battle between, I believe it was Jake Dan Harry and RoboCop. The gap between them now, both those drivers, is now 7.6 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Stig's coming into pit lane. Oh, and he's got damage. Oh, Stig. Just when I was giving you praise as well, I think that's like what, the 6th time, maybe 7th time he's coming into some damage. Although he had to come into the pits for a few anyways. So he's done his medium stints, he's done his soft stints. This should be back on hards.
Unless he decides to stay on the softs, but you can definitely see the wear on the back of those tires compared to those on the front.
You see the lap times there in difference: 2:05.8, 2:07.4, 2:06.9, 2:04.9. Yeah, he's on the hard tires.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll leave you with Savoy for the next few minutes here, and I'm going to leave the camera on Jake Dan Harry as he tries to close the gap to the next car in front of him, which is RoboCopy.
Oh, okay then. So then, it's Laudals are literally going to take a pit stop. I wouldn't say another thing because I don't want to swear. So we're looking here at Jake sitting in 6th position. We did see him early on in the race where he made a few mistakes, hit the wall, got a lot of damage on his car, made a pit stop, I think it was in the first lap, and he's recovered well up to as high as 4th, I think he was. He is blue, going into the S's. into the Big Dipper goes Jake. See the gap now slowly coming down between himself to Robocopy as he's coming into the Dipper. Turn 18, I think that is. And then into Forest Elbow, turn number 19. And then onto the Conrod straight away where there's a penalty bar. Tell you something, that McLaren must be getting a little bit faster. Look at the gap just slowly going up. I'm just looking here at PK, the gap between PK to Kobu, 55 seconds. Kobu's setting some decent lap times. Kobu flashed his lights to second-in-class Mermaid, who has distanced himself with himself and Taven up to nearly 8 seconds now it is. Kobu flashes the lights and Mermaid gets past Mermaid going into Buddy's corner. Law sitting in a solid 4th place, 17 seconds ahead of Robocopy, as you still see Jake on your screen. I'm just talking through the rest of the field as it's currently as at the moment. Taven is sitting in 3rd in class. Then you've got Mini Conan, followed by Pledge, FTA, and Venom Snake. FTA going on a bit of the grass and makes contact with Law.
Alright, I am back.
You're back. Oh, well, welcome back. I was just seeing there, just munching in there, a little touch with Law and FTA when Law was trying to pass him through Skyline, but no harm.
So I see the gap between Jake Dan here and Robocopy has now dropped to just under 6 seconds. Actually now 5.5 seconds. Jake Dan Harry just set a personal best sector going over the top of the mountain.
Robocopy's got to make a pit stop this time by. He will be pitting. He is flashing red. Actually, in fairness though to Robocopy, he set his best lap. His last lap, a 2-minute 4.373. But I don't think Robocopy has gone onto the soft tyres just yet.
I think he can still eke a little bit more out of those medium tires if he goes for a bit of half a fuel tank and really just puts out some qualifying laps. I think he can eke a little bit more out of him as Charles makes a pit stop from the lead of the race. Actually, he has damage. Charles has damage.
I can't see it on my screen because he's left in my session.
Charles, for a second there, he had front end damage and suspension damage. He comes in, just fixes the damage. No pit stop for him. Just a simple fix of the damage. But we had a 33-second lead to Mermaid that was in 2nd, or 9th overall.
Jake Dan Harry's setting fastest lap on his personal best, a 2-minute 2.8 on the soft tyres. So Jake is now into 5th place. He's got nearly 19 seconds to catch up on Law.
And Robocopy makes his pit stop and does come out on the soft tire.
So the field is spread out a bit, isn't there? It's not really any battle for positions that's going on at the moment. The only closest one that we're seeing is check here.
Real sketchy pass going by Charles. Did Charles almost spin? Charles spun! Charles spun! It was Jake Dan Harry trying to find a way by Charles, and that caused Charles to get into the kitty litter and spin the car.
I'm seeing it on your screen here. Let's see. Ooh. I know for a fact there's a nasty bump in the middle of McPhillamy's. There's a very nasty bump. I wonder if Jake hit that and got into Charles.
Well, actually, his front end damage again. Charles is lose the lead. It's only 17 seconds between him and Mermaid. With just over an hour to go, Charles, who's been leading the race in his category, could be about to lose it.
Dominated. He's been pretty much leading it since the first lap of the race.
He just made a pit stop to fix damage, and yet he's going to have to go in again. He's got front right and front suspension damage. the Group 4 race has just potentially blown wide open. Mermaid, who's in 9th, second in class, and then Taven, who's only 11.9 seconds behind him. Charles doesn't go in. He can't afford to make the pit stop right now. He knows if he makes that pit stop, that'll allow Mermaid to catch right up, and Mermaid is on a soft stint right now.
But the problem is, though, is that Charles should have came in because he's going to have more than a few miles with that damage on his car, so he's going to be considerably more slower.
That's a tough one. I think he's trying to take the gamble of losing less time and then changing everything when he makes his pit stop. He's trying to pit on fuel here. He's got half a tank left. Will that be much of a difference with Mermaid on the soft tires?
What's the lap time difference between the pair of them? Well, I can't say that because Charles made a pit stop.
Well, Mermaid right now is consistently doing 213s, low 213s. He was doing 212s earlier. Behind him, we have Taven, he's now on the medium tire. Or has been on the medium tire for at least a little bit now. He was also doing, at least he did a 213 last lap. So Taven's got some good pace, and he's still 11.5 seconds behind Mermaid, who is on the soft tire. But then Charles, who's now 13.3 seconds only over Mermaid.
Let's see what Charles will do. Do you think he'll make a pit stop now? Or is he going to stay out and hold on for fuel until he makes that pit stop?
My question is, I don't know if he knows that Mermaid is on the soft tires. Regardless of what he does, it was the simple spin and then the damage that threw it away. It's not going to be the pit stop that loses him position. It was the things that already happened. He's already done his soft stint. I think he did his medium stint as well.
I think he did. I can't remember if he started the race on mediums. I'm not too. I think he might have. Robocop is in again. Robocop is in again. He's got damage.
Excuse me. Without the front left.
The question is Charles staying out again?
Yeah, he stayed out again.
And what's the gap now between himself to Mermaid?
Basically 12 seconds, and he comes out right in front of Robocop.
And on my screen, there's FTA ahead as well.
And there's Stig behind him as well. So Stig's going to catch him up here. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of what happened to cause Charles to spin in the first place.
Oh, has Robo got damage again?
Shouldn't. He does. Did he not fix the damage? He might not have fixed it.
No, to me, on my screen, I think he did. I don't know. I'm puzzled now. I'm completely puzzled. He's
got FTA in front of FTA into the wall.
FTA smacks the wall very hard, and he's got damage because of it.
Everyone's getting damage. Does Stig between these two? Does Stig have damage? He's the one car here who doesn't have damage, apparently.
I don't want to sound bad by saying it, but that's a first.
He was about to kiss the wall there. So Robocop any damage. Stig did kiss the wall, but didn't get any damage from it. So Charles still has it, but he's only 10.5 seconds now over Mermaid. Back at the front, I want to check the gap. Kobu, he has to make a pit stop roughly pretty soon. PK still stuck behind Venom Snake going through the top of the hill here, but he finds a way by, it seems, maybe. No PK. Ooh, he just barely found a way by.
Oh, car gets a bit up a set through sermons.
Kobu's still gunning for it. He can still go on those medium tires.
Yep, Robocop going in again. You just saw it on your screen.
Splash of fuel, fixing the damage. Back out he comes behind FTA.
must have stayed out when he's got that damage. Yes, he has. He's still stayed out again. We've seen that before from FTA. He stayed out with having damage. Lost a lot of time in the process.
Charles moves over, lets him go by, but Charles is still fighting with that damage. He's really trying to extend that stint as long as he can.
What's the gap saying on the screen? It's a bit blocky on my screen.
9.4. 9.2. 9.7.
What's
happened to Mermaid? It just
Mermaid
immediately grew by a couple seconds there, but I think he was just being passed by traffic. Yeah, he was just passed by wise guys, so we lost a bit of time there.
We actually went very wide at Griffin's. He nearly hit the wall.
Lemmy, the rule on tires is that they must be on the car. Charles has more damage to the rear end of his car now.
Oh, things are just going from bad to worse for Charles. It's like this race is slipping away from him. What's he done now?
I think he hit something here going through the S's. He hit the back end of the car going through the S's. He turned in too early, or the suspension geometry threw him off.
Kobe's in the pit lane, but I think if I was Charles, I'd pit right now. I'd get in that pit stop now.
So Kobu just comes in, splash of fuel, that's it. Goes back out.
The gap would put Kobu to PK was closing down. It was less than 50 seconds.
It was closing, and Kobu still has his mediums he can use. So Charles is coming in now.
He's definitely coming in now, but he will lose that lead to Mermaid. Oh, looks like that was Mermaid too. Sorry. So Mermaid will take the lead of this race. He's gone by Murray's corner.
Tires back. I wouldn't do a new set of tires on unless he still has a set of mediums or the softs to use.
Mermaid did a slow lap time, 2 minutes 16.7. So this gap, in fact, Mermaid's now in the lead of the race. He's just got up the mountain straight, going into Griffins.
He is behind Taven.
Okay, so battle for second in class now is going on. And Taven's on mediums. He's got half a tank left in his fuel.
It's interesting to me that not a lot of these drivers are doing the Dan strategy of when you're on the harder tires, just filling up halfway in a fuel tank. You're way faster with the half a fuel tank than you are the full tank, and you don't lose that much time filling it up to half a tank. You're a bit faster to do it that way, but I guess that's not as commonly known knowledge. I'm not gonna lie, that is the strategy I used when I raced the 3 hours of Spa. It's a strategy I legit just stole from Dan's when he raced in Super GTs. Like it was like 8 hours of Spa race or something.
I hope you asked permission to do that.
Strategy.
Let's see, is the gap slowly pulling away with Taven the Charles? It looks like it slowly is. I'm just seeing whenever you see Charles on your screen, I'm always looking at yours because he's disappeared on my screen. But they're getting close up now because PK is right behind them.
He is. It's on the straight though, so this will help Charles a little bit because he's going to get the draft from PK, who jumps right on in. So Wise Guy makes his pit stop.
And his tyres, Wise Guy's tyres, they look not bad, although he is doing consistent 204s. Looks like he's changing tyres. Is that him going on to the... Has he been on shit?
I don't think he has. Oh, he's on the hards now.
He's going back to hards. He's on the hards. He comes out for the battle with Mermaid. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Taven and Charles, sorry.
Mermaid's still 12 seconds up, but he's on the softs now. I think Taven... Did Taven use the softs already? I don't remember.
I can't mind it at all. I should have wrote it down at the beginning. Like, I completely forgot. Only the drivers know, not us.
He's only 11, almost 12 seconds up the road from Taven, who was battling with Charles, who's now 2.5 seconds behind Taven. I mean, Taven's actually on the mediums right now, so he's pulling away from Charles. But Mermaid's tires are pretty worn, so the gap's about even between Taven and Mermaid.
It's just a case of when Mermaid will make that pit stop, and he's down to about, I want to say about 35% left of fuel in his car. It says on my screen that Mermaid's pitted. It says there's a P on lap 53. There's a 2:16.7. I don't think he has pitted, I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't have that in mine. It says he pitted on lap 51. Mine.
Probably my GT Sports messed it up then. But he's doing consistent 2:13 still. Sticks back in the pits with some damage. Oh, this time it's a lot of damage. Front, rear.
About the same damage that Charles had.
That's like the 72nd time he's into the pits.
It's a miracle that car is still working. Back at the front though, PK's. After Kobu's pit stop, PK's once again opened up the lead to 1 minute and 13 seconds. Kobu's still on the mediums though, so he's still going to try and claw it down, but he's only got 54 minutes left. He'd have to go basically a minute a lap faster. No, a second a lap faster than PK at this point, which, I mean, based on times, is not impossible that PK's doing, but I'm sure he's got some more in that car that he could respond with. Wise Guy still in third, Law in fourth, Jake Dan Harry in fifth, Robocopy sixth, Stig seventh, Mermaid now in the lead of our group 4 after Charles had some unfortunate incidents happen to him that caused him to relinquish the lead. Taven into second, and then Charles in third, Minikin in 11th, Pred J 12th, FTA 13th, and Venom Snake 14th.
Law's got some front end damage on his Porsche. I'm surprised Jake has not caught up to Law as expected. Jake's on the softs, whereas Law is on the hard tyres, and he's got to make a pit stop quite soon as well as Law. But I'm surprised that gap is not coming down. It's not as fast as expected.
If anything, it looks like Taven is actually slowly catching up to Mermaid.
Let's see, 11.2 is the gap. He's actually starting to do. He's been doing some 2:13s as well. It's slightly faster than Mermaid Bubbles. It's like back and forth. It's like one lap Mermaid's quicker, then the next lap Taven's quicker. So it's back and forth between those two. What's the gap though between Taven to Charles?
4.4, but Taven is on the medium tires as we stated. Charles is now on the hard tire.
Right, and Mermaid, in fact, Mermaid and Taven's exactly on the same fuel.
Yeah, but Mermaid is on his soft tire right now, and I don't know if he's used his medium tires yet.
I mean, that's only the drivers as long as you see their Wise Guys in the pits, and he's got damage. Wise Guys in the pits from third place, front and front left.
On mine, it's just the front bumpers.
Oh, now it's gone now. Yep, fully gone. No real harm though, because Law's 43 seconds back. He's still got front bumper damage, but the gap is closing down 7.3.
There's a bit of a battle here, or two cars close to another. That's just Kobu passing Minikin in here. 11.4. The gap's essentially neutralized between Taven and Mermaid. It's going to come down to what tires they have left and their pit strategy between these two, I think. You see Taven flashing his lights to let FTA know he wants to find a way by. And try and chuck it up the inside of Griffin's, and he gets it done.
Yeah, FTA still having those damage done. The front and the front right still damaged. So FTA, that's FTA. We haven't talked about deliveries in this race. We forgot to mention that. We were talking it before the race, and we forgot to mention it. What's your favourite livery?
I'll be honest, now that it's night out, it's a bit hard to see them all. But from what I have seen, I do like the SAS livery on Jake Dan Harry's car. That is pretty clean. Robocopies is something unique for this race. It's not just the usual Team Arc livery that PKMZ slapped on his car. I do like the ERA's color scheme with the purple and the orange.
Yeah.
Taven's got the Red Bull, the Charles with his usual. Jay's got the Vegemite because we're in Australia, so that's nice to see. Got an actual themed livery for this race. Out of everyone in ARC, who do you think would like Vegemite the most? My bet would be Ronald Thomas.
I thought he was like a Marmite type of guy, but maybe. I don't know. I could see Lemmy getting a bit of that Vegemite and thinking, that's quite nice. I think Lemmy could be, yeah.
I would also like
maybe Dan's too. Dan's could be a, you know.
I think Alex Rogers would probably like, oh yeah, I'm all over Vegemite. You'd be all over it, I think.
And then he'll do that laugh afterwards, because he always did it in his interviews, like something like that, yeah.
PKMZ is about to lap Wise Guy.
PK's flashing red and all.
Dan says he genuinely loves Marmite, so there you go.
There you are. Stick a bit of hot in it than that, and that's the perfect supper right there for you.
49 minutes left of this 3-hour race. On board the leader PKMZ as he looks to try and find his way by the third place driver.
Oh, Jake's had a huge moment. Sorry, Jake had a moment, 5th place at the cut, and he just went straight on into the wall. He's got engine, front and front right suspension damage. The car just went straight on.
Yeah, it just didn't turn. That was weird. I wonder if that was a wheel issue, perhaps?
Quite possibly, but he was really catching law. It was down about 4.2 seconds, and now that hard work's just done. It's just completely gone.
That was weird. I didn't. That was really weird.
Yeah, that was a strange one. It locked up and just went into the wall. Like it was like a flat tire.
So does he miss the apex? No, it didn't even miss the apex. Like he was full lock on brake and it just didn't stop or turn in.
Was it a late braking problem, perhaps?
I don't think so. Check again. Yeah, I think he just missed his braking zone. I think. Weird.
That is a very weird one, but Jake's going to lose a lot of time with that engine damage he's got. You know, Robocop, he could probably sniff that. He might look at that screen and say, oh, Jake must have a problem. Anyway, Law's in the pits.
Yeah, Law has to pit too. But Law's also got some front end damage.
Yeah, he's had that damage now for a few laps, I believe. But not as severe as what Jake's got to now.
I find it interesting if they're not Jake Dan here, he will actually fill up his tank to see if he can still jump Law and try and get a little bit out of his softs.
He's got to fix the damage though, but I mean, that's going to take a lot of time with that engine damage. I don't know how long exactly it will be for engine, but it's going to be a lot. He's fueled up though. I don't think he's changed tyres at all. No, he hasn't. He's sticking with the softs. So I think has Robo got out ahead? No, he hasn't. It's now down to 4 seconds and 11 seconds ahead. Behind Law now, sorry.
Back to the battle for the Group 4s. Mermaid still leading, 11 seconds, 11 and a half seconds between him and Taven has gapped out Charles even more.
Tell you what, this is actually a good show for Mermaid, even though we haven't seen a lot of Mermaid racing in these last few months. We did see him race a couple of times in this season 4. He was a threat in the Renault Clio, championship before he got disqualified because of incidents in the Nürburgring. So, you know, Mermaid's doing quite well here, considering he hasn't raced a lot these last few months.
He's not like Beckham, who doesn't show up to the last round of a championship. He's always there. He's always pretty consistent.
I forgot about Beckham, yeah. Too right. We didn't see Mermaid race in Mazdas, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't, no. I think he wanted to take like a little break. Like I know some of the other drivers, it's a long schedule, this ARC business, you know. There'll be like different racing that going on, kind of tight. Having a break is a good thing in a way. But yeah, Mermaid looking quite good here.
He is. This seemed pretty comfortable. But it looks like he's going to have to change his tires when he makes his next pit stop. And it's going to depend on what tires Taven has left that he can use. If he still has a set of softs, Taven could win this whole thing for Group 4.
And there is still time to go. 45 minutes to go. 2 hours and 15 minutes at Bathurst. Oh, Jesus.
I think Mermaid's just waiting for us to host a karting championship. Little does he know, I would bring the battle to him.
Have you actually stopped racing altogether now?
In what way?
In real life, I mean.
Yes, I've stopped racing karts in real life for a while now. As Mermaid makes looked like a bit of a mistake there as he went through the cutting. But yeah, it got to a point, and I'm sure Mermaid can attest to this as well. It just got too expensive. Way too expensive. It got to a point where every 2 to 3 races you're spending $400 or $500 just for a set of tires. And long gone are the days of Ayrton Senna saying that karting was the purest form of motorsport because money had nothing to do with it. Money's got everything to do with it now. You have millionaires like kids like Lance Stroll and stuff like that come into it and spend millions of dollars, and they'll fly in an engine tuner and a driver coach from England to come to Canada just to teach them for that one race weekend. They'll show up with a semi-truck with catering for the 2 chassis that they have in the back of that truck. It just, when you have a budget of a mom who's a nurse and a dad who's a mechanic, how are you supposed to compete against that?
There was one word you forgot about when you said about Lance Stroll and Rich and all that. You forgot the word talent. Anyways, moving on. I don't know. I don't want to hate on Lance Stroll, but I just don't think he's.
I mean, he got there. Definitely had the dad to get him there. But yes, all the drivers in Formula 1 and Formula 2 and stuff, they all have money. You won't get there if you don't have some form of money to pay your way in anymore. And it sucks that that's the way racing is, but we have this. We have esports. We have racing like this where it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you have a Fanatec wheel. It doesn't matter if you have a 10 grand sim racing setup. It doesn't matter if you're on a controller. You're on the same playing field as everyone else.
I was just about to touch up on what you were saying earlier there. It's when I first started watching motor racing, you'd saw like drivers like Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen who went up in the world of motorsports, and then you got like the likes of Lance Stroll or Pastor Maldonado that bought their way into Formula 1. It's just a shame now that you see, more paid drivers than you actually see the drivers with talent behind the wheel. Like if say for example, if you and me was like a competition for the seat in F1, you could have multiple championship in different, like you had a Formula 3 championship, you won a Formula 2 championship, whereas I got like $27 million in my bank account. 9 times out of 12, that manager for that F1 team has that seat will still go for me over than you because you've got more money over talent. And that's the sad thing what motorsport has come to now these days.
It is unfortunate. And there are some people fighting it. Like, I have to give props to the Red Bull driver development program. They actually find drivers like Igor Fraga, who honed his skill here in Gran Turismo Sport, and signed them to their driver development contract. So, as much as I ragged on Red Bull for winning everything earlier on in the decade, they do a great job to actually try and bring talent back to Formula 1. And you see that with guys like Max Verstappen, and Daniel Ricciardo, and Sebastian Vettel.
And also, I think was the very first one was that Nissan GT Academy. What was it, Jan Maldenborough?
Yeah.
And he was quite successful in GT racing. I haven't heard a lot from him recently. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's still doing GT racing or is he going into single seaters. I'm not too sure.
have a question. Techno Guy asking if he's lapped the GR3 yet. Techno Guy has lapped everyone except himself and Kobu. Or excuse me,
only
PK.
2 cars, PK and Kobu.
Oh, looks like Kobu just lapped Law.
Oh, he did, yeah. And Law didn't get into the back of Kobu's coming into the pit lane.
Needs to pit off some fuel. So let's have a look. 41 minutes remaining. Now we're not talking about Formula 1 and pay drivers anymore. Let's focus back on the race. PKMZ leading here, 53 seconds over Kobu, who's now making his pit stop in second place. We have Wise Guy in third, Law in fourth, Jake Dan Harry in fifth, with actually Robocopy right behind him, so this is a battle for position. Actually, Jake Dan Harry has more damage to the front of that car now.
Oh, he's done more damage too, yeah.
We have Rono asking for a Charles fuel check, so let's have a look. See, well, there's Mermaid. Mermaid needs to make a pit stop, and his tires are fairly worn. There's Charles, who's actually ahead of Taven, because I believe Taven just made his pit stop. Yes, Taven just made his pit stop, but he's on the softs.
So there you go, there's your answer. Taven has kept those softs too late. I wonder if he can actually go on those softs to the end.
It's quite possible. 40 minutes remaining, you can get that done. I definitely think you can. Mermaid's done quite a few laps on his, but Mermaid has to pit this lap at 22, 23 seconds between him and Charles. It's going to be pretty close for the Group 4 championship, or race here.
Yeah, it could be free.
Robocopy and Jake Dan Harry side by side through the cutting, or the top of the mountain, excuse me.
Robocopy's just got to find that bit of patience here, because this is just a one-lane groove round here. Just find that bit of patience here, Robo. Robo's lagging all over this on my screen. I don't know about you, but he's lagging on mine.
He definitely lagging.
Wise Guy's... Let's see what the torque of this McLaren does against the Nissan. Or a battered Nissan at that.
We're going to try and find a way by Charles, but Charles puts his car in the middle of the track. Jake Dan Harry wasn't sure which way to go. Charles moves over to the one side. Will Robocopy find a way by Charles? He will. Robocopy late on the brakes, almost misses the apex of the corner.
Mermaid's in the pits now. So this is going to be interesting for GT4. Let's see what happens.
So Charles, who was just driving by the start-finish line now, Charles retakes the lead here. It looks like he will. It'll be pretty close. He not quite, just side by side.
There will be side by side.
No, Mermaid's in front. Mermaid is in front. Charles is behind. They're both on the hard tire. Charles has a lighter car, so he should be faster, but they're only 7 seconds down the road as Taven on his soft tire.
But out of the three of them, Charles will have to pit, wouldn't he?
Rono's in the chat, and he says he's got enough to go to the end. But I think this falls into Taven's hands. He saved his softs for the perfect moment. He's got enough fuel to get to the end. Within 7 seconds of the cars in front, he's got a brand new set of softs on his car.
Keep an eye on the battle for 5th place. Jake and Robo reuniting the battle again. Here, looking really hungry. Going into McPhillamy. Not going to get it there. And again, going into Skyline. Again, one lane groove. Got to hold your line here, Robo.
It's hard to follow on board Robo a little bit.
Oh, he's got damage. Robo's got damage.
Nope.
No, he's not.
It's just, oh, he spun though. He definitely did spin. He made a mistake, and now he's got damage. Now he's got damage.
Now he's got damage. Yeah. Probably repeating ourselves now. That was odd because it seemed to me that he had rear and rear right suspension damage. Now he's got front and from left suspension damage.
It's hard to see what exactly was happening with the lag, but now he definitely has that damage on his car. Back to the battle for the lead of GR4. Mermaid still ahead of Charles by a second. That was because I think Kobu managed to find a way by him. And Taven's now 4.5 seconds behind them.
Jake's coming into pits though. Probably to fix that damage. Oh, he's gone into kitty litter. I wonder if that will be a penalty for Jake, just because he made that mistake going
Charles
into
coming in
pits.
with damage. Charles has to come in with damage.
Oh, not again, is he?
He's trying to fix that damage.
God.
So Taven is in the he's in the prime position to take home the GR4 win here.
And do you know what? I wonder if Taven will rub it into Charles's face, because I know them two have been chatting amongst each other back and forth like on any chat. Anyway, Jeep Dan Hardy did pick up a 3.5 second penalty for shortcutting the going into the pit lane. The Stiggy comes into the pit lane as is usual with some damage.
Charles fixes his damage, hits with a little bit more fuel, but I think he's relegated to locked in with third place here. He's on those hard tires, he's not catching Taven, and he's way too far back behind Mermaid at this point. As long as Taven can stay clean and not pick up damage, he's on point for a win in his class. Of the mountain, 4.3 seconds the gap. Let's go on board Taven as he heads down the mountain. There you see the 5th place overall driver of Jake Dan here in his GTR. That you can just see him is Mermaid as he makes his way down the hill.
Gap still closing down, 4.2 seconds. Jake closing in. He's flashing the lights already at Mermaid to let him by, going on towards the corner watch straight away, but that gap is now less than 4 seconds. Taven's wanting this. It's just amazing how Charles's race is just completely scrambled into disaster. He was well out in control.
Is that a new ARC livery on that car that I'm noticing? Do we have a new ARC logo? That looks like a new logo on this car, Mr. Taven there.
On Taven's? Let's have a look.
At the front of the car, on the side, and on the back of it.
I think Marvelous did that, didn't he?
How it?
I'm sure Marvelous must have done that. Yeah, it does. It looks brand new. Well, I suppose.
Oh, he's left. Charles has left.
Has he actually proper left this time?
I think he has. He just left mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just says in chat, what the fuck? I think he got booted. Charles just got booted.
I tell you what, do you know, I feel bad for Charles right there, because like he had the palm, he had the race on the palm of his hand, and then one damage led to another, and then this happens. Absolute disaster city for Charles, and it's something that you really don't deserve after dominating like the first 2 hours in the race.
Pretty much, but that means Mulitclass is now the man who was last fielded, is now in position of 3rd in class.
But notice, go back up to Taven. 1.5 seconds he's got over Mermaid.
New set of soft tires still on that car. They're still looking real good.
Oh, that's going to be passed sometime soon. I tell you what, if you know yourself, your lad, always been a real race driver. When you've got different tires on, you're just a sitting duck. There's nothing you can literally do to try and hold the guy back that's on a faster set of tires.
You can try and make your car as wide as possible as you can, but that's about it. And with a track like this with such a long straight as these, it's almost impossible, especially in a corner like this to chase. It's almost, you could fit 3 cars on this track. You can put it in the middle and force him to pick a side all you want, but there's not much you can do. As Taven's going to set up the Mermaid here. He's going to try and make a pass, possibly into Hell Corner.
Oh, he's just there, isn't it? 2 German manufacturers going at it for the lead of the GR4.
He's got the run.
Speed difference.
He's got the run. Mermaid's going to rub him to the inside.
Oh, it's squeezing him.
And
holds it off.
He thinks better of it, and now Taven's got the long straight to set him up. We've seen passes around the outside of Griffin, so if Taven can make a pass on either side going into this corner, as long as he can get alongside Mermaid.
Mermaid needs to find the gatekeeper's tactics of trying to hold them back. We've seen Mermaid in battle before back at Brands Hatch. Let's see if he can have his experiences on how to keep a lead. Or if Matty spoke to Mermaid.
He's going to try and do it through the cutting.
He's got to do it.
He's trying to do it on the outside of the cutting. Mermaid has to go defensive here. It's going to compromise his exit speed.
Oh, Taven scraped the wall in the middle of the cutting. This is kind of like reminiscent of the battle between Chaz Monster and Jamie Whincup in the Bathurst 1,000-kilometer race a few years ago. That was absolutely epic. This could be a carbon copy.
Still over the top of the hill. You can see him closing so much.
Oh, he's all over the back. He's not going to do it here. Surely not. He's not going to do it in the skyline. No, he can't do it in the
Forced a mistake from Mermaid. No, Taven!
Oh, and Taven spun it! He spun around! He's reversing, but don't brush the wall. You might pick up damage. Oh my god!
And PKMZ
he
had to take some slight avoiding action. There goes Taven around, but he still has 30 minutes to try and claw back that time. But it's almost up to 10 seconds now.
Oh, that was edge on seat stuff there. How? I am amazed that Taven did not pick up any damage at the S's. How narrow that part of the track is. I'm amazed he didn't pick up any damage.
He has exactly 30 minutes to close 10 seconds.
I'm just amazed how he's just not picked up any damage. That is incredible. If his uncle's watching this, he'd be like, go on, Taven Stallion or whatever. He's closing the gap again. 8.6. He's gained half a second. Oh my! I'm just shell shocked how he did not pick any damage up in the S's. I can't believe he got no damage. Unbelievable stuff.
8.18 seconds flat now. He heads up the hill. 28 minutes left to go.
It's only the real battle that's going out there. All the rest again have spread it out pretty much. It's really the open battle for
let's have a look through at the field here with 30 minutes left to go. There you see PKMZ all over the back of Mermaid as he try and find a way by here. Looks like he will. Mermaid lets him by. He's not going to try and spin himself out like Taven did the lap before. So PKMZ a minute 25 ahead of Kobu GT in second place. Where we have CSX Wise Guy in third. Law 226 in fourth, Jake Dan Harry in fifth, Robocopy in sixth, and The Stake in seventh. And leading our group of four currently is Mermaid, who's an 8th overall, Taven in second, and the 9th overall. Now Yaminikinen now elevated to third after Charles TT's disconnect. Third in class, 13th overall, Pred J in fourth, 11th overall, FTA 5th, 12th overall, and Venom Snake QZ, excuse me, if the keyboard would work. There we go. 13th overall, but 6th in class, and then as we mentioned, one retirement with Charles TT.
Tell you what, Taven is still getting on with the business. That spin has always gone very wide on the exit. It's always hit the wall and he's got damage. Taven has got damage, front end and front left suspension damage, and that could effectively maybe the end to that GR4 race between Mermaid and Taven. He was pushing the car too hard, understeered, and into that where the wall comes back on the exit of the chase, and he's got quite a bit of damages, although it's pit fixed now. But what's the gap now? 12.5 seconds, 26 minutes. Oh, dear me. It's all happening in the GR4, Zilado. What's going on? What is going on?
Well, Taven making mistakes is what's going on. It's 26 minutes to close 12 seconds. Not impossible. But if you look at the difference between him and Mermaid, they're about the same on fuel. The difference is Taven has those soft tires on.
Back at the ranch, PK's going to be making a pit stop this time by, he's about to put a second lap on Robocopy. All over the back of the McLaren as he's going through the Conrod straight away. Oh, you're still looking at Taven. Is the gap closing?
11 seconds now.
Yeah, you know, Taven, again, it's like what, who did I say earlier? He was pushing the car and then pushed a bit too far. Was it Cobra? I think it might be Cobra. Again, fine line between properly aggressive and then going over and making a mistake, as you see PK on your screen making a pit stop. Potentially his last pit stop.
Still going. 24 minutes remaining. PKMZ makes one final pit stop to fuel to the end, but it won't make a difference. Taven 9.9 seconds.
I'd give it. I'd say maybe. How many laps do you think he'll close up on him? I'd say about maybe 3.5 laps. I'd say. Depending if he doesn't make a mistake.
Well, it is currently lap 69, and I was told by Lemmy that PKMZ would bottle it on lap 69.
Well, I can tell you first off, PK has not bottled anywhere at all. He has drove an absolute faultless race.
It's lap 75 for PK, excuse me. It's lap 69
all right.
for the Group 4s.
Kobe, I think Kobe's coming in. This will be his last pit stop. I think it's just to fuel up, I think. Yeah. Kobe's in.
The rest of the field seems to remain stationary. This is the closest thing on track we have to a battle. Taven on his soft tires, which are apparently lasting forever. He's setting more personal bests through the top of the mountain. He is trying his best to close that gap to Mermaid. He knows he can win this. He just has to close the gap.
He's got it in his sights, but again, he can't afford to make a mistake like what he did on the exit of the chase a couple of laps ago. He's got to control that anger and shandle it anywhere.
Setting another personal best sector. Now into the chase. 8 seconds the gap, 22 minutes remaining. It can be done. Work with Taven now. Half a tank of fuel, 22 minutes remaining, 7.5 seconds.
What was his lap time? 2:12, wasn't it?
Yep.
2:12. Mermaid did a 2:14. 697, and it's nearly down to about 50% of fuel left as Mermaid.
Taven setting personal best sectors, roughly 2 seconds a lap faster than Mermaid. He can catch him and take the lead. He has to be safe. He has to be careful.
Would you say this would be an unexpected victory if Taven to win this?
A bit, yeah. I believe with what we saw from Charles earlier on in the race, he was dominating, and then a mistake happened that wasn't his fault. He got into it with Jake and Harry, and then he got damage on the car, and from that point on, it was just like that. It was over. But that's endurance racing. That's just racing in general. You can lead by a minute, and then you have an engine failure.
no doubt Taven will be bragging this to Chucky in the chat. I can guarantee you that. No question he'll do that.
Well, if anything, I'd
But
be
he is
bragging to
catching
Mermaid.
Mermaid so good. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Mermaid's not the type of guy that will be sort of like that, isn't he? I have to say, for a guy who hasn't, who's just a late entry into this, Mini Coden is on course for a podium finish. I think that should be credited there. I think that should get a lot of respect there.
Definitely, 100%. He's a minute behind Taven, so he's definitely locked into that third place, and Prej's a minute behind him. So, barring a disconnect, he's definitely on point for a third place. And he was essentially called in 5 minutes until before the lobby opened. So, props to him.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal job, and this is not a tricky track to master. I mean, this is a tricky track to master. My apologies.
See, back to the battle between Taven and Mermaid, under 5 seconds, and you can see him. Taven can see Mermaid, Mermaid can see Taven.
Do you know, I think Mermaid is short shifted again. Yeah, do you know, I've got this feeling that Mermaid is short shifting. I just think he is. Is he trying to stretch the distance here? It's down to about he is down to about nearly 50% and there's 90 minutes on the clock. Is he trying to stretch it?
It's possible, but Taven's still within 4 seconds. And they have roughly the same amount of fuel. Now the AMG does have 2 more cylinders in its engine than the Porsche.
I'll check again through the field. Jake Dan Harris in the pit lane. He's just come out. He's done his set of soft tyres and he's gone back onto the hard tyres. So he's going to stay in a safe 5th position, 44 seconds back of Law, 41 ahead of Robo. Either way, good solid effort from Jake considering the problem that he had in the first lap. So to finish 5th is a pretty solid effort from Jake. But anyway, back again, you're still looking at Taven. He is chasing down that Mercedes yet again.
Under 3 seconds now as they head into the chase. He sees him, he can taste it. 18 minutes left. As long as Taven doesn't throw it away again, picks up damage, he's on course for a win.
I hope Charles is still in the chat to see his good friend Taven here, if he's going to win this.
Definitely still in the chat.
Has he been saying anything?
They've all been saying things.
Oh, have they? Hopefully not aimed at me.
I mean, look at you here. The usual.
Oh, God.
Minute and 1.6. He's closing so fast. His tires are still good. The fuel is good. He's still setting personal best sectors. Now through the cutting, 1.2 seconds.
Oh, he's within a second. It's just amazing how only a few laps that, he was 12.5 seconds back and he's literally there. Oh, there's the demon sign, 666. Get out of that difference there. Yes, now him, It's just amazing how Taven is caught up to Mermaid in a short amount of lap times. And I know Mermaid's on the hard tyres and Taven's on the softs. This is where Taven made that mistake. It's a lot better. Mermaid's Mercedes, especially on the sides, looks all bent up and damaged. Taven's looks not bad though.
Taven's done a great job to keep it clean so far. He's off the back
Nice
now.
guys in the pits for third.
This is the opportunity he needs. Down the mountain in the draft, he can find a way by through the chase. Mermaid puts his car in the middle of the track. He's going to force Taven to pick a side. He's going to force Taven to pick the inside for the king, but the outside for the chase. Does Taven have the speed to power his way by? It looks like he will.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's got
through.
fully ahead. He's through. Now, where can Mermaid make the pass? Can he make it back? No, he can't. Sticks in the pit lane again with some damage.
And
I think that's the race for the G.
Taven leads our Group 4 category.
Quite interesting though. Taven has used a bit more fuel than Mermaid, so I don't know. This race might not be over just yet.
16 minutes remaining. PVMZ still leads over Kobu, Wise Guy, Law, Jake Dan Harry, Robocopy, Stig, Taven, Mermaid, Mini Cunning. I still don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm pretty sure it's Raikkonen, but it has Mini in front of it, so I'm just going to say it's right. Mini Cunning, Prejay, FTA, and Venom Snake with one retirement of Charles TZ.
Do you know, I think, as much as I said that he's got damage all the time, I think we have to give a huge shout out to Stake. As you see it right there, he's still continuing in this race, considering the amount of pit stops he's made, the amount of damage he's had in the car, and he's still there battling. Even though he's going to finish last in the GR3 class, he's still there after 2 hours and 45 minutes full of, I would say, frustration from the Stake. But he's still there and he's still giving it a go. And I mean, that's full respect and props to Stake for keeping it on the track still and not backing out.
Taven's already opened it up. 2 seconds over Mermaid. Throughout the rest of the field, doesn't look like there's any other close battles going on, so we're approaching the closing stages of this race. I do want to give props to Jake Dan Harry as well. He's done a great job so far, especially after the start. What we saw, he was back to a point where he was almost a minute behind, roughly almost, and clawed his way back up to now 5th place. At one point, was fighting for 4th.
Yeah, I think he was as high as 4th, but then he had the problem, I think, where he made contact with Law. Also, Law too. Law's been very solid. I know he's had a few mistakes there, but for him to be in 4th place, that's solid from Law.
That is pretty good, especially when you consider the competition he was racing against. He qualified 3rd, was in 2nd most of the race. It's a good result from Law.
Had the incident with Kobu on the exit of the chase. And then after that, he's been in 4th ever since. And also Wise Guys, we haven't mentioned him a lot. And he's now standing on the bottom step. Pretty much confirmed.
Yeah, he's on his stint, a soft stint now. He's done a great job. He's had a fairly quiet race, but a solid job nonetheless.
Yeah, he was pretty much there to pick up the pieces when Kobu and Law had their instance there as he scrapes the wall. Yeah, Wise Guys has had a relatively clean race, and looks like he's closing in on PK by the looks of it.
Oh, not PK. Yes, PK.
No, that's Mini Cronin. Yeah, it's PK.
No, your PK's got damage. Got front end damage.
Oh, I think. Oh, well, I mean, that's not going to be no harm on him. He's got 1:17. But, although saying that, it's what happened to Charles. Charles had a big lead, and then he caught up in some incidents. Is this the first sign of weakness from PK here on lap number 80?
It's 12 minutes. You never know. It's not engine damage.
Charles's lead disintegrated in about 10 minutes, didn't it?
It did. He just comes in to fix the damage. And away he goes. Roughly losing a few seconds. Back away, but he's drove him absolute masterclass today as PK.
Yeah, he's just the Bathurst king. He won. Excuse me, I had a burp there. I do apologise. You know, he won the season 2 race here. He won the 90 minutes with absolute breeze. He's pretty much the ARC's Bathurst king.
He is the king of the mountain. Kobu GT still in 2nd place. Wishes he could have that title, but he won't be coming today.
In fairness, though, in fairness though to Kobu, he hasn't put a foot wrong, other than that incident that he had with Law, but that wasn't his own fault. That was Law's fault. But other than that, he has drove a very good race as Kobu.
That he has. He's drove an excellent race so far. He's been very respectable. He hasn't made that many mistakes. If like, especially what we've seen from him in the past, he's drove pretty good today. So I have to give props to him. He's done a great job, especially here at the GTR, proving that he's actually got some pace to bring.
Don't forget, he drove the GT3 car, that car around Le Mans. That was the race that you did. And when you drove the Chevy, and he dominated in that as well. So, you know, good effort from Kobu. Superb.
This is the field. We see Jake Den here making his way by FTA. Looking at the...
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to point out, I was looking at the gap between Jake Den and Robocopy. And it actually looked like it was coming down a little bit, but they're not on two different sets of tires. So it's still 20 seconds between them, which is a fair bit. But
someone's gone very wide.
It was Venom Snake there.
Oh, it was Venom Snake. He was
being passed at PK.
Again, we haven't talked about Venom Snake, but again, full respects for him for showing up and not quitting with maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes completed.
He did finish second in the Lobby B in the 3 hours of Spa. So he's a man that's, even though he's in last tier of a slower class, it doesn't mean he doesn't have a lot of pace. He's a solid tier B driver. When we look at it in the championships, in a championship way, he's a solid tier B driver, and he's definitely putting himself out there to improve. And like 3 hours around here is not easy, regardless of who you are. I don't think there's a single car on track that hasn't had to pit for damage at some point.
No, I don't think he has. He's drove a very steady race, and we have seen Venom Snake before. We have seen him in the Renaults. I think he's raced in the there was other off-series GT3 championships as well, but I can't remember exactly. But you know, he's doing a great job there.
And FTA, I want to point out, is a driver we haven't normally seen before. We haven't seen him race a lot, but he's definitely doing his work out there. His car is battered and beaten, but he's definitely still giving it his all.
Yeah, I think he's a relatively new driver. The first time I seen him was in that Master Championship around Brands Hatch. That was the race, one of the races that you wasn't there, and he struggled in that. And you see him; he's picked up a few damages along this race, but you know, this is just a learning curve for FTA. He's just got to eradicate these mistakes, eradicate the damages, and then, you know, he could be a potential threat to win whatever tier championship he's going to be in. If it's tier C, tier B, tier A's, you know, obviously not out of the question, but, you know, he could be one to look out for. I always think that car, that FTA livery, that greenish car looks like the Miami Dolphins colour. Sort of looks like it.
Not many battles happening on track. Taven has opened up his gap to nearly 10 seconds over Mermaid. They should both have enough fuel to get to in 8 minutes remaining.
I wonder what Chucky's going to be saying. What's Chucky be saying now that Taven's in the lead, that effectively Taven didn't deserve to win this race?
Well, I wouldn't say he didn't deserve to win it, because everything he's done has been absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Like his strategy has been excellent. If he didn't save his softs to the end, like Charles did at the MX-5 Championship, he wouldn't be in this position. I mean, everything that happened to Charles was unfortunate, but it was a racing incident. I don't think any driver necessarily needed to be deserved a penalty for it. In my opinion, it was just a racing incident. So I wouldn't say that Taven doesn't deserve to win, because he definitely does. It's just unfortunate what happened to Chuck.
Flags are being waved. Is that Kobe behind Taven, is it? Yes, it is.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Kobe, yes, sir.
Yeah, Kobe is, yeah.
I'm pretty sure at this point, the marshals have just left the blue flag lights on the entire race, just because of how many times they're going to be passing the cars.
Yeah, I can imagine the marshal's arms being absolutely tired, waving the blue flag every lap, every minute. If there's one thing I would love to do is actually marshal. I know you don't get paid for it, but they are the heroes of motorsports. Oh, Kobu scraped a lot of the wall, and he's got damage because of it. I don't think he should be pitted anyways. I know he's going to be in a net second place, but I don't think he should be pitted.
If he does that,
oh, careful!
If he throws it away here, it could be Wise Guy in second place.
46 seconds though. 5 minutes to go. Do you think he'll stay out or will he pit?
I mean, he can essentially pit without any consequence to him. There's no reason for him not to pit, really.
No harm. Law's coming into the pit lane to make, well, he's not got a lot of fuel left, but he's going to be in a safe 4th place no matter what. Dan Harding is good to go.
Yeah, Kobu does come into the pits to fix his damage. The gap between him and Wise Guy did drop to under 40 seconds, though.
Yeah, Wise Guys is just entering the Conrod straight away.
Just a simple damage fix for Kobu, and he's back on his way.
And we've got less than 5 minutes to go.
We do.
Sylvan, for your first 3-hour experience on an endurance race, what's it been like then?
Hasn't been too bad. Crow's not feeling too bad.
Yeah, it's been some fun racing. There's been some close battles. There's been, obviously, it's expected loads of people with damage and hitting the walls and what have you. Other than that, the battle between Taven and Mermaid was good. That was fascinating to watch. What else was pretty good to watch? I'm trying to think back over those hours ago. Kobo and Law, yes, that was entertaining. But then other than that, it's just been like a massive field that's been spread it out. But we're really coming towards the end of the race now. Law's just lapped the stick. Oh, it's a stick. Stick's got damage again. Oh, Sticky! Come on, son.
What time is it over there in the UK?
It's coming up to 22:11 right now. Yeah, I think the other 3-hour race in Spa, I think we started at 9 o'clock and didn't finish till midnight. Myself and Tipper guy.
You guys
I
are
think our
staying
voices
up
were
pretty
dead.
late, huh?
Oh, hey, I've been going to bed at silly o'clock. Like I've been getting off the PS4 at about 2:30, maybe 3:30 in the morning. Like I need to stop doing that. I'm an old man.
Bit of a, I think, a timing glitch there on the screen. I just saw that like Kobu and Wise Guy swap places for a second, but they did actually not. Kobu's still in second. 2 minutes 30 seconds remain. We're at Bathurst. We're gonna get 2 more laps.
Is there any other news to talk about in the ARC other than there's no racing tomorrow, isn't there?
Let me have a look at our schedule here. Go. We are in March, so we in the 29th we have the team versus team against GRT. It's not a team versus team championship, it's just ARC versus GRT, which I believe is Gazoo Racing Team, I think, or I could be mistaken on that.
Okay.
But then in April, it's the first Sunday of April the 5th, we have our first round of our championship series, our season 4 of our GR3 championship series at Red Bull Ring. On the 12th, we have round 2 at Monza. And then we have on the 19th, the final round of our team versus team championship at Spa. And on the 26th of April, we have round 3 at Laguna Seca. Sunday, May 3rd, we have round 4 at Bathurst. Sunday, the 17th, May 17th, round 5 at Interlagos. And then May 24th, round 6 on Brands Hatch. And then right now, June 7th is round 7 at Spa. The final round is round 8 at Catalunya on the 14th. And that's basically our schedule right now, but I'm sure there'll be more races added as there's a yellow flag here coming down the mountain. Who is that? See if we can find out.
That's the cheese.
It's Wise Guy.
Wise
And PK just hit him. He got ghosted and PK has engine damage now. Not that it's going to matter with 50 seconds remaining, but Wise Guy, they both have engine damage now.
He just lost it in the middle of the S's. And he did ghost. He moved out of the way for Jake Dan Hardy. Then the car unghosted and PK nowhere for him to go.
You know what that is? That's a flashback of season 1 between Ruby and another driver I don't remember. But that was almost the exact same thing that happened. I believe it was on the final lap.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. That was when it was you and Kobu in the commentating booth, and I was there struggling in last place.
10 seconds remaining, and I think PK might just stretch this race out just a little bit, so he can make the flag.
I think he might need to make a pit stop. I don't think he's got enough time. Oh, there's the end of the race. This is the last lap.
There he is. There's your winner, ladies and gentlemen, with some engine damage at the end. PKMZ, an absolute masterclass.
Oh, he didn't Arabic drifting. That's a shame.
An absolute masterclass. Robocopy will finish behind him in 6th place. Let's see, there's Wise Guy coming across the line in 3rd place with his engine damage there at the end. In the end, no cost to either driver. Let's see if we can see where 2nd place Kobu is. He's coming down the mountain now. Let's see where our leader of Group 4 is. He's going up the mountain.
Leader of Group 4 is at McPhillamy. Going into what Skyline, now into the S's.
So there you have FTA crossing the line. There's Law and Venom Snake side by side coming up under the Emerald Bridge.
Kobu's weaving left and right on the Conrad straightaway. I tell you what, that is solid for Kobu. Hopefully that's his confidence picked up for season 4. Very solid drive from Kobu as he rounds off the chase for the final time. 86 laps they've done around here.
There's Kobu. There's our podium for the GR3s crossing the line now, flashing the lights, finishing the 3 hours around Mount Panorama.
Minnie Conan has came across the line, finishing 3rd. Absolutely sensational job for Minnie Conan, who was a late entry in. But here comes Taven, your winner in the GR4 class. He's flashing red, he's running on fumes, but he's good to go. Absolutely solid effort there. From the unfortunate moments from Chucky, Taven will win the GR4 race. Solid effort from Taven, and I think it's Memory the last one to cross the line. No, Predjay is still there. In fact, Predjay was just lapped there, and Memory will cross the line 2nd. There's Predjay. We didn't mention a lot about him, unfortunately, but he will come in 4th. And there's Jake, last of all, 5th place overall.
There's your finishing order, ladies and gentlemen, with the one unclassified finisher of Charles TT due to a disconnect. But congratulations for an absolute masterclass, the king of the mountain himself. PKMZ led from start to finish in pole position and fastest lap. Absolute domination here at Mount Panorama.
That was a good fun race. That was really good.
As we go over the finishing order again, PKMZ your winner, Kobu in 2nd, Wise Guy in 3rd, Law in 4th, Jake Dan Harry 5th, Robocopy 6th, and the Sig is 7th, and that's your top. And that's the finishing order for the GR3 category. Then in 8th place, we have the winner for the Group 4 with Arctaven Mermaid in 2nd, Minikonen in 3rd, Predjay in 4th, FTA in 5th, Venom Snake in 6th, and then 14th would be Charles TT. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was 3 hours of Bathurst.
Who would you think was the driver of the day? What do you think it would be? I think there's a couple.
That's a tough one. Honestly, it is. I mean, PK was absolute dominance today. He made no
Yeah.
mistakes. Anything that he did, it wasn't really his fault. I mean, Jake Dennery had a
Hmm.
great comeback. Taven had a great win after being. It's hard to say who my driver of the day was. It might be a little generic and bland, but I'm gonna have to say PK.
I'm going to say Mini Conan. I think he, you know, for a late entry to only be in 5 minutes before the race, I don't know if he had any practice in, to finish on a podium when he just came in about 5 minutes before the race actually started. I think that takes a lot of guts, a lot of showing there. So I'd say, a lot of props to Mini Conan. He's my driver of the day.
All right, but ladies and
Well,
gentlemen,
go on, sorry.
No, I
I
was
was going to say,
gonna.
what would the chat think who would be driver of the day too? Oh well, never mind.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our stream for today. That was 3 hours of Bathurst. If you enjoyed the racing here you saw today, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and toss us a like. It helps grow the channel, helps allow more people to join ARC, gets our name out there, and gives you some better racing. So, feel free to share us around. It means a lot. If you want to support ARC or join ARC, there's a link in the description where you can join our Discord, where we host everything, where everyone is. That's where we all talk and communicate. And if you want to support ARC, there is our Teespring page over on teespring.com/adrenaline racing community. We have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, all that good stuff if you want to buy your nice old ARC merch. But that will conclude our broadcast for today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lateral G.
Happy my Savaloy.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and remember to keep racing.